All right, welcome to another BS sessions. And Jerry, what's up, brother?
Oh, what's going on? How are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing great. I'm just drinking, smoking, and you know,
So basically the usual.
only 2 days a week. God, give me a
Yeah,
break.
right.
I look forward to Thursdays because
Two
I
day,
get to
two
start
days
my
a
drink.
week, 3 times a week, right?
I was
Yeah,
gonna
no, I
say,
hear
hey,
you.
you record on Sundays sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, 3 days a week this week. Then there's a Sunday coming up. Oh God.
Yeah, we got a full panel tonight, man. We got the man in the corn shirt, Joseph Staub, man. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Excited to talk about this.
Yeah. Um, yeah, good to have you on. I was gonna ask you something I completely forgot about. If it comes up, I'll ask you later. Fuck, what was it?
Sounds good.
And then we got the two great members from the Blackspinner Circle podcast, Al Horta. That's a cool ass shirt.
I had to pull out the Roger Waters shirt
There
that
you go.
I
Yep.
bought at the concert. I got the
Cool.
poster back there too.
I was gonna say I see the poster back there too.
Yankee
Cool.
Stadium.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh man, that would have ruled.
It's got
got-
Babe Ruth. It's got Babe Ruth on there. If you see
Nice.
Babe Ruth swinging the bat, it
Oh
was
yeah.
a special poster that night, man. I had to get
Fucking
it.
hey,
man.
dude.
I have a blacklight poster of Pink Floyd, The Wall with the hammers. Over
That's
right
cool.
there. But I didn't want to take it down because it's covered with books right now. So it's like, fuck, it'd take me forever to put it back up.
Hey, was that at the new Yankee Stadium or the old Yankee Stadium?
The new one.
The new one, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And then I'm
I went-
sorry. And then sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, man. Keep introducing, guy.
I was just gonna introduce the second member of the Black Spinner podcast and my co-host on the Three Shots Down podcast, Andy Rodriguez. Man, he's all decked out in Houston gear. It looks like tonight.
Dude, I am ready to go. I'm ready to go
Right.
for this baseball season. I'm ready for this episode. I'm all in and everything.
Yeah, for the first time, I'm actually excited about baseball. It's been a long time since I've been excited about my Cincinnati Reds, so it's gonna be watch them fucking lose 100 games this year now. But yeah, go ahead.
I don't think
Oh
I
no,
will.
I'm good.
So anyway, we're doing a pretty interesting show tonight. We're doing a Pink Floyd album battle, but it's an inner battle. Side one and side two of Pink Floyd's, if you don't know this fucking album, let us all come around and smack you in the face. Because
Well,
you're
I don't want
you must live on fucking Mars or something if you don't know about this album. There's some interesting battles in this one. It's
It was a little
bit-
unexpected.
the little minute and a half instrumentals and stuff. I think are going to be the deciding factor. I mean, the hits are the hits, of course. There's one fucking matchup I hate, man, because I love
There's
both those
two.
songs so much.
There's two for me.
There's two for me. Yeah.
But this is interesting. I don't know if we've ever done this on our show today, where we actually did a civil war between the actual just one album. So
No.
should be
No,
pretty
we never did
interesting.
It's one of the few double albums where the tracks actually match up.
I know.
And there's technically 13 songs, but there's a lot of them that actually kind of go together. But
Yeah, it's a concept album in every way.
I mean, it's my favorite concept album of all time. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I know Mark likes Operation Mindcrime better. What do you guys rate this album as far as
Those would be two of my top concept albums.
what about you, Al?
This is probably, I mean, if I had to rank it in a pantheon of concept albums, it would definitely be in the top 5.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be number 1 for me, but I don't know, man. It could very well be number 1, though, man. I mean, it is one of the greatest, just conceptual things, man. I mean,
Right.
it's so relevant today as it was when it was
True.
written. I mean, it's like it's held up, man.
What about you, Andy?
That's like Queensryche too. That album is still relevant with
Oh,
the subject
yeah.
matter
yeah.
on both of them. That's a great concept. There's like some concept albums there. They're like, what are they doing now? It doesn't. Still good music though. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like really off now compared to those two albums.
Yeah, to me, The Wall is the best concept album that I've ever heard. It's
Yeah.
a really good story that sticks together. I mean, it's a really good story, and they stick to it. It doesn't veer off. It really doesn't leave you second guessing at all. It's plain and simple what the story is about, and they flat out give it to you without having to second guess what's going on. So To me, The Wall has always been my favorite concept album.
I'll say this, man. Really, you really shouldn't listen to this album if you're actually depressed.
No.
Right?
Oh, it'll mess.
No,
with you.
seriously, it'll fuck you up, dude.
No,
Like,
I know.
I mean, if you're down in the dumps already, I advise you to stay clear of this album. You know,
Yeah,
until
go listen to the Monkeys or something.
Don't
Yeah.
leave me now.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah,
listen,
especially if you
to
break up with your
Triumph.
girl, or yeah. What about you, Mark? Man, how you rate this album as far as concept albums?
This is my number 2 concept album. Queensryche's my first one, but it's just like I go to the Queensryche album way more than this album. I haven't listened to this album in a while, but Queensryche I hear at least like once a month.
Queen's the Operation Mindcrime is also just an easier listen. Like
It is.
You really have to invest time in
Yeah.
The Wall. Mindcrime you can just kind of put on, and it's like it's also it's one disc. So
yeah, but it's cool. I mean, with The Wall, you can you listen to the album, or you can watch the fucking movie. Man, it's just like,
well, you can do the same with Queensryche.
So many options. What do you mean?
They have Operation Live Crime.
Yeah, live crime. I'm talking about
Video Mindcrime.
Video Mindcrime.
Oh, do they really? I never heard of it. I'm not the hugest Queensryche fan. So.
It's only about half the album. They didn't do the full album, but it's like partially like the band in a warehouse playing on stage, but it's also like clips of like actors kind of telling the story a little bit.
Okay, gotcha.
I used to have Operation Live Crime. It was a box set with a live CD, and it had the VHS tape in there, man.
Yeah.
That got ripped off a long time ago. That was awesome. I love that live album. I want the CD again, man. I want that Live Crime album. Is fucking amazing.
Get the box set, Mark. Get the box set.
You got the box set? They have it again? Oh shit. Yeah, I guess I gotta go.
It's
the latest box set, right?
Yeah,
there was one that was done like for the 25th, I think, and then
I think it's the 30th. Let me check.
Dude, he has everything like
it does.
God damn.
Oh crap. It's the CD. It's like a second disc of bonus tracks. It's 2 full live CDs, so it's 2 different versions. It's the like the original Operation Live Crime CD, and it's also the Hammersmith Odeon one that they had on the 25th anniversary box set. So you get 2 different full live performances, plus you get the DVD of Operation Live Crime and Video Mindcrime.
Nice.
Yeah, you get it all, man.
Yeah,
you get it all, dude.
And it's like
how much was that?
Like $50.
Oh shit, I need that.
And it has like a cool like hardback book in it.
God dang it! That means
does that have a surround sound version in there?
I think so.
Yeah,
it might, but it folds out like this.
Yeah,
nice.
Oh wow,
that's kind of like my Def Leppard early years box set. It kind of folds out like that. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that looks cool, man. I need to get that.
All right, Mark, let's start with the bullshit, dude.
The bullshit. This is something I forgot to talk about last week. Alex Vanhalen, he has a book coming out called Brothers, and everybody's like thinking about, hey, he's gonna fucking talk about Sammy. He's gonna talk about why he hates Sammy. Blah 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 blah. I think it's actually about him and his brother. But a little excerpt came out from today. It says, he said, we share depth of understanding that most people can only hope to achieve in a lifetime. In the new book, that was details revealed. So what do you think about that, Andy?
Well, if you put all the music aside that they did together, they're brothers. Nothing breaks that bond of brothers. No matter what lead singer came in, or and we really don't know their lives outside of the studio, and what we know, there's probably a deeper life, a deeper bond between them, more than we'll ever know. It's just like us with our siblings, there's a bond there that a lot of people don't know, so I think it's going to be a very good book. I hope it's not too trashy. I hope it's more of a memoir about his brother, is what I would like to read.
So what about you?
I'm looking forward to it too, and what I'm thinking it's probably going to be about is them. Their father was a musician, and they had a bond with their father, and he was very strict of them growing up, making them into classically trained pianists, and then coming over here from the Netherlands, they really didn't have anybody but each other. Like they didn't, they were foreigners and they got ridiculed in school. I've heard Eddie talk about this in interviews, and they really had each other to lean on. The two brothers, Alex and Eddie, and I think a lot of it is probably going to be a lot of that story, like growing up and going through like hard times and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm sure it's going to touch into them becoming a band and all, and I don't know how far it's going to go. It's probably not going to be their whole career. I can see it probably stopping like somewhere. Who knows? It might even stop out to where the first album comes out, because there's some
That's what I
books
kind of
like that.
think.
Yeah.
It might be they're coming up of like in the club scene, backyard parties, all that stuff, and it might cut off when they hit big on the first album. I don't know. I've got to wait until I get the book, but I mean, like Andy was saying, though, it's you're never going to get an Eddie autobiography because he's gone. This is going to be the closest thing you're ever going to get to that. You're going to have Alex's version of Eddie's life in here, which is the best that we're going to get now, and I look forward to it, man.
Yeah, and he'll do them true. He'll do them good.
Yeah, of
think.
course. And they fought, just like siblings fought. They had fights and all that stuff, and so like Eddie seemed like so private that he never seemed like the type that was ever going to write a book about himself anyway. So Alex doing it, man, I welcome it, and I can't wait to get it.
All right, Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything that Al said, I completely agree with. I feel like if it does get into their career past the first album, I mean, there's no way around it. It's going to have to talk about some of the controversies because it deeply affected their relationship. Like that, the breakup with Dave and all of the drama with Sammy, and then, of course, to a lesser extent, Sharon and all that crap, greatly affected their relationship because it had to do with Eddie's substance abuse and Eddie's health, and all that really kind of played into that. And so, I mean, of course, if he does get into that part of their career, he's going to have to talk about it. I don't really know, just because he's never been an extremely public person as far as like where he falls on stuff. I don't know how far he would go on certain things. Like I really can't at this point in his life see Alex Van Halen coming out with this like tell-all book about like
trash.
Oh, Sammy did this and Sammy did that, because of the two, he's gonna trash Sammy. He's not gonna trash Dave nearly as much. I feel like he definitely would probably say some stuff about Dave, but I don't think, just because of where the relationships were in the last like decade or so, I think he would probably say a lot more about Sammy. But honestly, I don't think he's gonna. I really don't. I can't see this being the situation like the mudslinging that went on from Eddie's own mouth. I can't see Al being that kind of person.
I agree with all of you, but Jerry, what do you think about this?
I mean, everybody is going to be waiting for him to bash them in the book. I mean, everybody likes that kind of shit. But I think if he does bash both of them, it's going to be I don't know if you call it a classy way, but I think he'll be a lot more classier as far as in his bashing, But it's going to be interesting because, like Joseph said, Alex has been a private guy his whole life, so it's going to be interesting to hear his perspectives on things. And I would love to hear a lot of the stories before they made it big, like Al was mentioning. How they got, with Dave
the
and
rat
all them,
salad
how they
days.
got along. I mean, hell, you might even talk about Gene Simmons. Who knows? But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm behind on books right now. I need to catch up on a couple of them, but
I need to read my Geddy Lee book, man.
Yeah, I'll move that ahead when that comes out. So I'm looking forward.
I still need to read that Noel Muck book too. I'm so behind, and I got a Benjamin Orr book too that I need to read.
The Noel Monk book, you can go on YouTube and there's an audio book of it on there.
Oh, I can listen to it on the way.
If you don't feel like reading it, go on YouTube. You'll find. I think it's a long video, obviously, because
it's just I don't have time. I do two
shows
like 6 hours. Work.
Dude, put it on when you're going to work and put it on.
That's what I do with podcasts. That's how I listen to everybody's podcast, man.
Yeah, I that's how I listen to it, man. Like, going to and from work, and I bang that out in like 3 days,
Yeah.
I'll check it
And
out.
it's great.
Okay.
It's great, man. I mean, it's
I
It's
know
audio,
I have
so-
it, and I've been wanting to fucking read it forever, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh god damn.
I'll throw the link.
I got an Angel book too about Angel too. I want
I'll
to
throw the link up, for you guys to find it easier, so.
All right, man. So yeah, I just hope if he does trash Sammy, I think it'll probably be a little light compared to the way Sammy trashed them. And if you ever listen to Alex in interviews, he was the more articulate speaker. So we might get a lot of good shit in here because this guy is very intelligent. You see him pounding beers and shit like that, but when you see him with his hair slicked back and his sunglasses, and he's just talking kind of like Gene Simmons, really articulate the way he speaks. And Eddie was kind of more of a party type voice, but he's like intelligent the way he speaks. But I'm gonna call this as a new segment because it's not a new segment because it happens every fucking week because this band is constantly in the news or whoever former members of that. This is the obligatory Kiss BS. So Ace Frehley, he just released his new album. I don't know if you guys heard it. What's your thoughts on it? I put my thoughts up on it.
I forgot to cancel my pre-order.
Oh, I did. Thank you, Eddie Conestrachi.
I was gonna do it, but it was too late. It already shipped.
Oh my god! So we got your answer there, but besides that, he says that as soon as Chris left the band, he lost his power in Kiss.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody knew that.
Yeah. Obligatory. Have you heard Ace's album, Andy?
I heard like one or two tracks, and I really wasn't interested. So I'm just gonna skip this release. I just wasn't interested.
I like the last two cover albums and Space
Oh, yeah.
Invader. Really
Oh
good.
yeah, those are good.
I
Yeah.
have all those CDs back here. They're great. He's been on a great run for the last decade or so. This is just garbage.
Steve Brown, dude, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
And I like a couple Trickster albums, not the first one, but this is horrible. That's good for Trickster, but you're turning Ace into Trickster. What do you think about it, Al?
Apart from only the songs that he released, I haven't listened to the album, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you much.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
And we already know
the one song was good though. The one
Mhm.
I don't even remember the name of it now.
there's two good songs on there.
Fighting for Life.
Fighting for
Yeah,
Life
and I like 10,000 Volts as well. I like the title track.
The instrumental was pretty good.
It was okay.
Ace always does pretty good instrumentals.
I didn't hear that, so I'll pull it up and I'll stream it. And
It's the closing track like every Ace album.
And it wasn't called Fractured Mirror.
It was called Stratosphere.
So, oh man. So what do you think about this, Jerry? Have you heard any of Ace's new album?
I have heard a couple of the songs, and I think Ace has finally written. He's finally written his version of "Read My Body" or no, "Cherry Medicine." Boy, that song sucks. That's one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life. But the 10,000 Volts song is really good, and I didn't care for the one fight for your life.
No.
Fighting for Life.
Fighting for Life. I didn't care for that one. I know people like that song, but I just don't like it. But yeah, I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I'm not a huge Trickster fan or Steve Brown fan. I do like that other band Steve Brown was in. What was their name?
Tokyo Motor.
Tokyo Motor Fist.
Yeah.
Doesn't that
I
have
like that
Eric
band.
Martin in there too?
No,
Is it-
it's
no.
Ted Poley.
Temple. Oh, okay.
I mean-
I know Eric Martin works with doing stuff with that guy too.
So other than that, I'm not really a fan of him. So it shows in his music that he has written those songs. So, it is what it is, I guess. Though whatever Ace wants to do, I guess it's his business.
What's up with his voice? It's like fucking triple, quadruple track.
Yeah,
It's like
got some weird stuff on there.
it
It's like,
sounds weird.
It sounds like it's like half speed sometimes. Like it's slowed down. It's triple tracked, and then sometimes like when they just single track, he just sounds like he could not have cared less to be there.
Exactly. Even the video for that Cherry Medicine, he just looks like there's hot chicks dancing. in front
Literally
of him. He's
surrounded by like
just-
7 or 8 hot chicks, and he's just like,
I know, dude.
He's
All
thinking
right.
I
about,
don't know, some of the pictures that I've
he's
some
thinking
of the
about Peter
pictures
Schmeckel.
I'm just saying some of the pictures I've been seeing on Facebook lately. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like the chicks. I don't know.
oh boy.
He
No.
still misses Peter.
Oh God.
He misses
he misses Peter's Peter.
Peter.
Yep. Mhm. Yep.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Well, if the
Hey, I haven't
story
broke that one out in a while.
if the stories are to be believed, he asks his girlfriends for some weird stuff. So,
Oh
but
my God.
no,
And
Once you
it's-
shove, what I mean, once you shove up your ass is your own business. I don't
Yeah.
care if that's what he's
Yeah,
into. More
really.
power to him. So
Yeah.
but
it's not my thing.
no, it's funny. I've seen
It's not
Steve
my
Brown.
thing.
I've seen Steve Brown either 3 or 4 times live, and I've never seen Trickster. I've seen him.
Yeah, I saw
I've
him
seen,
open for Kiss on the Revenge tour. I saw
Oh,
him.
Firehouse is way better.
oh yeah,
Ugh.
definitely.
Way better.
No, I've seen Tokyo Motor Fest either 2 or 3 times, and I saw him fill in for Phil Collin
Yeah.
when
Oh, that's right.
he
Yeah,
had his baby.
He did.
He
That's right.
did Vivian
Mm,
too. He
yeah.
did both
Yeah,
of
when
them.
he
Yeah.
when Vivian had his cancer, he filled in
Yeah.
for Vivian, and then when Phil had his baby,
Yeah, I filled in for
he
him.
filled in for Phil, which they did not announce it until 20 minutes before the show started.
That's fucked up.
And it was the show I was at was the first show of the tour, and it was the first show since 1983 that Phil Collin was not playing.
Damn.
Oh.
All right. So then we get to Jerry. You gave me this story. Phil.
No more Kiss. Okay.
No. Oh, go. No more Kiss. Okay. That was a good one.
Oh, God. Jerry's in rare form tonight. I can tell.
Oh, Jerry. I don't know how to say the drummer of Kansas. I don't know how to say his last name.
Billy Hart.
Yeah. He's recovering from a heart attack, man. Any thoughts on that, Andy?
Oh no, I just hope he has a speedy recovery.
Al?
Yeah.
same thing, speed of recovery. I when I just saw Kansas only like a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago or something, and he didn't play the whole show. He played the second half of the show.
Yeah.
They have another drummer that plays the first half because they do the show in 2 halves, and then kind of like they do first half, then they do kind of like an acoustic kind of thing where there's like no drummer, and then he comes on and completes the show. So, and he sounded great. I thought he sounded fine. So I mean, but hopefully he gets better.
Yeah,
He's still gonna. They say he's still gonna manage the band and stuff like that. So I may have seen like one of his last
Yeah,
performances.
shows. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I want to get tickets. They're going to play September up in the desert. I
They
like to
sound
go to
great
concerts
still,
in the
man.
desert.
They're amazing. I'm
They're
hoping
stuff.
I saw them last year, and they're coming around again in a couple months, and I'm hoping to see them again.
Yeah, they're playing September 5th in
amazing.
Agua Caliente casino. I like going to those casinos, man, because I fucking hate LA. Fuck that traffic. And the parking is free at the casinos. You go to LA, it's like $50 to $60 to park. Fucking
That's what it is here. That's what it is here in Nashville now. It's $50,
Yeah.
man.
Fuck that shit.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so you have any thoughts on Phil, Jerry?
I mean, I don't mention Kansas enough, but I am a huge fan of Kansas, and I like I said, I wish him the best. I hope he recovers. We say this all the time, man. These people are getting old, man, and a lot of this shit's going to happen. So, it's just sad it's got to happen. So, but like I said, I haven't seen Kansas since mid-90s, I think. But I heard this. I don't know who they got in the band now, but whoever they got sounds fucking amazing. I was watching some videos the other day. They call them Scab Kansas is an insult because they sound amazing still. So
it revitalized the band, in my opinion. I mean, the last 2 studio albums they've done with Ever Since, which I'm interested to see what they do now studio wise, because one of the main kind of creative forces behind the last 2 albums is no longer in the band. He came in 2015-ish. Zach Rivesby, he played guitar with him, and he wrote a lot of the stuff on the last 2 albums.
Damn,
and
those are good albums.
he left the band, I believe, either last year or the year before. And but like if you pull out the CDs for Prelude Implicit and Absence of Presence, the original members of Kansas maybe wrote 1 or 2 tracks on both of those albums. The entire albums were written by the new members, and it's freaking amazing. And just the I've always forget his name, the singer, Ronnie Platt. His voice sounds amazing, and he's hitting those notes. I mean, those are some hard songs to sing.
Yeah, that's why
And
Steve Walsh doesn't have a voice anymore.
And Tom Brislin on keyboards is awesome. And then they got Joe Denizen coming in last year on violin, and he's just done an amazing job. I mean, Robbie Steinhardt is one of the most legendary violin players ever, and to fill those shoes, and of course Billy Greer on bass, who's been with them since the '80s, that sings a lot of the songs as well, sings a lot of Robbie's vocal parts. They for a band that's been around, that is currently on their 50th anniversary tour, to sound this good, and to have this much life left in them, and to be producing new music that is this good this far into their career is just I cannot say enough good things about Kansas.
How come nobody calls them Scab Kansas like the other bands?
Because nobody
Because they
dresses
sound too good.
because nobody dresses anybody up and to fake.
There
Yeah,
you
they're
go.
not, and they really do stand by, like they aren't pretending. Like it's not like
Yeah.
they stand by the current iteration, they stand by the music they've put out, and I think they've proven themselves at this point. Like if there was a lot of stuff coming in when before the first album even came out, right after Steve Walsh retired, everyone's like, "Oh, what are they doing? What are they doing?" It's just down to Phil and Rich, and then the albums came out, and the lineup is there's been a couple changes, keyboards and violin and guitar and some things over the past couple of years, but I mean, just if you see them live, it honestly one of the highest recommendations I can give to see a band live right now is Kansas, because they can still they can hold a room
Yeah, I
like
want
you
to get
wouldn't
tickets for
believe.
September.
And Steve Morse came out in the show that I
Mhm.
saw, man.
Ooh.
God, I would have.
Dude, it was awesome. If you want, it's on my YouTube channel. The whole
I
show.
watched it. I remember we talked about it, and I watched it, and I if that would I would have been amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
I wish he was bringing the dregs up here, and he's not, and I'm upset. But
yeah. So it was cool, man.
So
So
then
get better, Phil.
Yeah,
yeah, please.
get better, Phil. I love fucking Kansas, man.
Yeah.
I got to get tickets for September 5th,
And
but
Phil seems like such a great dude. Like you watch the Miracles Out of Nowhere documentary. He seems like a really great dude. So
where's that
like,
documentary at? I never
it's
seen
actually
that.
on YouTube for free right now, I think.
Ooh, I gotta watch it.
I watched it not too long ago, but it's a great documentary. It only really goes up to Point of No Return.
Mhm.
But it's interviews with all the original members. They filmed it before Robbie died. So
Nice.
it's and they got them back together to go back to some of the locations where they were like first getting together. It's a really, really great documentary.
Nice. I think Kansas is like a forgotten band. It pisses me off sometimes, you know. But man, speaking of documentaries, I saw that Run DMC documentary, which is pretty good. I think it's on Paramount Plus. And you're talking about that Jam Master Jay, they got the murderers, right? And then like what, 2 weeks later after I watch it, they're finally found guilty for the 2002 murder of Run DMC's Jam Master Jay. 22 years. And they finally got these motherfuckers who killed one of the fucking greatest DJs of all fucking time. Without him, you wouldn't have fucking the hip hop. Fuck you, Jam. The hip hop sucks now. But I'm just saying, fucking hey, man. I love Run DMC. They were my like them and Blondie got me into a little bit of like listening. Hey, what's this? You know, and then the Beastie Boys just submitted it. I like that shit. You know, but fucking great, man. I hope you guys fry. Fuck you, motherfuckers, because Run DMC rules. What do you think about that, Andy?
Well, they still. Well, I'm glad that they found that they brought those guys to justice because it's been a long time 22 years. I think it happened like during a holiday, right? During Christmas or
Yeah, he
New
was in the
Year's.
studio. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure if he was a white rapper or a white DJ, they would have found them easier and a lot faster. I think because we still don't know about Tupac and Biggie at all. There was rumors about the Tupac one like last month, but
Yeah.
then that went away
Yeah.
after that one day saying that they've got a suspect, but you never heard more about it. And they need to do a better job of this. These are also, I mean, these are celebrities. I mean, these were stars that were murdered, and there's still no end to it. Bringing the murderers to justice. But I'm glad that they did that for Jam Master Jay. I remember Run DMC was one of my favorites. Run DMC is one of our gateway bands that got us into rap. Like we talk about gateway, this getting us to different genres of music. Run DMC was that for rap, and I I enjoyed rap up until like maybe the late '90s. After that, I kind of lost favor with it. But man, what a run! In my opinion, that hip hop had because of Run DMC, and Run DMC was a big fixture in all that up until the late '90s. After that, kind of lost its way. It's kind of lost the Run DMC way, to be honest with you. All these new rappers and all that can say what they want about how Run DMC was a big influence, but you don't hear it at all. They just say it, but they don't actually put it on wax like the others did. So that's my take on Run DMC. Great band.
Al?
I pretty much echo everything Andy said. I mean, I'm glad that they've been caught, they've been brought to justice, and you know, and I mean, at least there's closure to Jam Master Jay's family now, you know, and it's been 22 years, man, and it was the day before Halloween when he got killed. So October 30th. I just looked it up. So,
Yeah, it was a holiday. Yeah.
yeah. So and he would, yeah, and it's when it happened was when he was in the studio. So yeah, and Run DMC was my gateway to get into hip hop, man. I mean, when I saw Rockbox on MTV, I was like, wow, what is this, man? I mean, because let's face it, man, for a lot of people that were into rock and stuff, they combined rock with like rap. They had the guitars and all that stuff in there, and it just brought a whole wider audience. That's when they were in a lot of ways, number one in a lot of areas of hip hop. I mean, they had the first gold album, they had the first platinum album. They were the only hip hop band to be on Live Aid. Not a lot of people remember that, man, but they
I
were.
didn't remember that till I saw that documentary where it showed them on there.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, they blew a lot of doors down, man. Broke a lot of walls, and obviously the collaboration with Aerosmith. That was like a pivotal moment in
That was
music.
huge. Yeah.
So
Well, it started Aerosmith's career, not so much Run DMC's though.
well, Run DMC were riding high,
Yeah,
man.
they were
I mean,
riding high, and they brought
were-
Aerosmith with them, man.
they were one of the biggest artists at that time. I mean,
Yeah.
Raising Hell is a fucking classic.
Fuck yeah.
That's one of those hip hop albums that even if you're not a big fan of hip hop, it's like casuals will have that in their collection. You know what I mean?
Tricky.
Yeah. But good. I'm glad it's over. Like they've been found guilty and all that stuff. So it's awesome.
Christmas in Hollis, Die Hard, baby, Christmas movie.
I love that. I love that.
They're playing that song in there. But Joseph, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm like they said, I'm extremely happy for his family that they were finally able to bring them to justice. I know it mentioning like Tupac and Biggie. I agree with Andy. I feel like it does have a lot to do with racism in America that has not been pursued. And I know I was reading a story that they're pretty sure that Tupac specifically was gang related. And I mean, when you get into the politics of all that, I mean, it's like bringing down the five families of the mafia. It's if the gang doesn't, if the people behind the gang don't want the information to get out, it's not going to get out. You're pretty much it's never going to get solved. I mean, you pretty much have to bring the entire gang down to figure out exactly what happened. With Biggie, I know people always throw Suge out there, but I don't think I think in both cases I don't know if we're ever going to know exactly what happened.
I think
And
Diddy killed Biggie.
I think that's unfortunate for their families in particular. But I'm glad in this case that they were able to bring them to justice for the family's sake.
Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really add anything else except, I'm happy too that they found, their killers. I mean, I agree with Joseph said. I don't think you're ever going to find the Killers of Biggie or Tupac. I think it's bigger than the Police. You know what I mean? So I don't think you're ever going to get closure on that one, unfortunately. But it is nice to see that they found justice for Jam Master's family. So good for them on that one.
All right, so we get to a thing that I think is pretty cool. I like Rat. I like Stephen Piercy. He said Motley Crue with John 5 is not Motley Crue. Rat without Robin Crosby. I said it when he wasn't playing. This isn't going to work. We can do anything we want. We could try this as hard as we want. It's not going to be the same. The singer noted, and it never was, and it never will be. What do you think about that, Andy?
Man, Mick Mars leaving. I mean, that was the icing on the cake for me because I always attributed Mick Mars to Motley Crue. They just went hand in hand. Even though, man, have y'all heard that that Mick Mars album that just came out?
Proof.
Oh.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! It's
Hey,
it's
but Andy, it's heavy.
but it sounds
It's
like
heavy,
it was
so it's good, right?
it sounds like it was recorded in the year 2000, and they got a kid off the street to produce it. Oh my god, it was. I mean, I didn't even know what I was listening to. It was just so bad. Yes, there's heavy guitar riffs, but not that many soloing.
Yeah,
And
where's Mick?
I was very surprised that it was so uncharacteristic of Mick Mars, is what I thought it was.
To be fair,
But,
when was the last time that Mick Mars played a solo?
yeah,
94?
At least.
So
Yeah, that 94 album.
had like over
Robbie,
20
man.
yeah, I
years.
don't think he played on New Tattoo.
No, they said John 5 did all of his solos even back then.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
wow. Well then at that point, this is where you should hang it up. I mean, if you can't do it anymore, you can't do it anymore. I mean, that's all there is to it. But to go back to what Stephen Piercy said, Stephen Piercy, I saw him live a couple of years ago, and he was fantastic. The band that he had with him is fantastic, and it makes you wonder why he doesn't do a whole full on Rat reunion. And I think it is because Crosby not being there. It's not the same.
DeMartini
You know?
won't do it.
DeMartini too. He won't.
Yeah.
He would do it if DeMartini came back, but it still wouldn't be Rat to him. So
Well, it's because DeMartini doesn't need the money.
yeah.
So, it's true what he said. Sometimes when these members are gone or they die or they just don't want to play anymore, it's for me. I don't like to see bands that aren't like if there's like half of the members, I won't go see them. Absolutely not. It's got to be at least more than the original in there that made my favorite music. Of the reason why I was a fan of the band was because of the songs that these guys or women made, not because there's someone that knows how to play it too. Yeah,
Well, I
like
have seen Foreigner.
you see right there. it's just-
But you haven't, Mark.
Oh, but I have.
But not recently, I'm saying.
No, in the 90s when Lou and Mick
yeah,
they did a
Well, yeah,
tour.
that
I
was-
saw them
yeah.
at the Universal Amphitheater.
Yeah.
So I saw
Yeah.
Lou and Mick together. So that was cool.
But you didn't even see Foreigner. Foreigner broke up in 1979.
No, I know.
yeah, but to have Lou and Mick there,
Lou and Mick,
that's all right for me. But right now, I mean, they're living up to the name of Foreigner. If you ask me,
they put on a good show. I cannot
Yeah,
lie.
exactly.
Kelly's
It's
really
a
good.
show.
Jeff Pilson's
But it-
amazing.
But it's a tribute act.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It is.
And they sell out these huge places for that. It just blows my mind.
Well, again, you got like 75% of the crowd that doesn't even realize who
Oh,
is
yeah.
the original members and who isn't. So.
I do. I just want to see the songs, man. I love they're keeping those songs alive. They're fucking amazing songs.
They're not a band that I love. They're not a band that I love enough that I would pay money to go see not a single person who played on any of those records.
Exactly.
They're pretty much a faceless band. They really are. So.
No,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
No,
I know the band.
Mark, they are. Mark. To
Yeah.
anyone but you, they are.
That's true.
I
I
mean,
love Foreigner.
No, I can tell,
I love Foreigner.
Lou and Mick apart. I mean, I can tell those guys apart, but the average fan won't be
Rick
able to.
Wills, you don't know Rick Wills?
No.
Bass
Who?
player, blonde guy. I don't know him.
the blonde guy.
I
Joseph.
A
mainly
blonde guy in music. No,
And the drummer, the drummer Dennis is really cool too.
I only really know Ian McDonald because of the
wasn't
other
wasn't
stuff he
Jason
did.
wasn't Jason Bonham with them for a
Yeah,
while?
he toured with them for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
All right, man.
But
So,
you know what I mean, though.
yeah.
No, I hear you.
So, what do you think about that, Al? About what Steven said?
I don't think Motley Crue is Motley Crue without Mick Mars, to be honest with you. But again, when was the last time, like Joe said, when was the last time he actually played? I mean, Saints of Los Angeles was basically a 6 a.m. album.
Yeah.
It
like
was
those
Motley
albums.
Crue in name only.
I do.
It was. It was those guys in 6 a.m. that played on it and wrote the songs and all that shit. So, I don't consider that a true Motley Crue album. As far as like what Steven said, I thought Infestation was a great album, and you're missing Robin on there, obviously. Okay, but I thought Carlos Cavazo did an admirable job. I saw the version of Rat when it was just when Steven went out with Juan, and it was just those two guys, and it was still sounded great, but they were calling themselves Rat. And I think Steven kind of realized it's really not Rat without if we, all the guys, man. I think he just come to that realization. And like Joe said, man, if you're not gonna have Warren there, it's really not Rat either, man. You shouldn't even be able to call it that. So I agree with him, man. It's not the same. But I thought they still sounded great, and I'd love to hear the songs and stuff, but it just wasn't right to me when I saw them. I missed the Infestation tour though when Carlos was. I had my daughter had just been born. She came home, so I had tickets for that show when they played in New Jersey, and I couldn't go to it, so I had to give a friend of mine a ticket. So, which I was kind of bummed because I never got to see Warren DeMartini live, and I love him. So I wish he'd come out with like an instrumental album or something at least. He's a fucking great guitar player, man.
Yeah. He's gonna be like Vito Bratta and disappear,
right?
Well, Joe said he doesn't need the money, and he really doesn't. He's fucking. I think didn't he?
Well, he's from like one of the Candy families.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
he married a Hershey girl, right?
Yeah,
something like that,
or Mars or something.
Yeah, Hershey. Yeah, Eminem.
So that's my take on it.
What do you think?
But like Carlos Cavazos playing with them, that's different because that's a name, that's a face, that's someone we know.
A name, yeah.
It's not just some faceless person there that we don't know. When it's Carlos doing it, I can understand that.
Check out Carlos Cavazos' new band, Freak Show, with Rick Fox.
Oh, really?
I really think Robin Crosby was a very important part of that band, dude. Because look what happened when he's gone, man. Like that band went haywire, bro.
Yeah.
So much dysfunction, and he really, they called him. His nickname was the King.
Yeah.
Was King, and he probably was the ruler of that. Well, the early part of that, and then when drugs took over, it was like he kind of lost his kind of power in that band. To me, him and Warren were a great guitar team in like the beginning, and then as the '80s wore on, Warren started getting a lot of spotlight, and kind of Robin just kind of drifted off, man. So, which sucks because I thought both of them were great together, But anyway,
any thoughts on that, Joseph?
Oh yeah, I definitely give Stephen Pearcy a lot of credit to have understood. Hey, this is where I need to be. He's still out there doing his thing. His solo band is amazing. I've seen him a couple years ago. I'm seeing him again in a couple months. I'm really excited to hear Out of the Cellar in its entirety. It's going to be great. One of my biggest regrets was the M3 festival that I go to. The year before I started going in 2017, one of the headliners was Rat, and it was the last tour that they did with. It was Steven, Warren, Juan, Carlos, and some random drummer because it was after Bobby Blotzer screwed himself over. So it was those four plus some random drummer, and I've seen videos online and it sounded amazing. So I was like, one of my biggest regrets is I never got to see Juan or Warren or even Carlos. But yeah, we all know Motley Crue's been a smoke show since the beginning. Like it's been smoke and mirrors since 1981. What even is Motley Crue? Motley Crue was a produced band if there ever was one. And I mean, my favorite Motley Crue album isn't even a Motley Crue album. It's not. It's literally called Motley Crue. It's a self-titled album, and it's not even Motley Crue. Without Vince Neil, it is not Motley Crue. Just the same way I'll say without Mick Mars, it's not Motley Crue.
Yeah.
But again, it's like it's Kiss syndrome all over. Who played on what? Like who? Even going back to the 80s, who played on what? At least with Kiss nowadays, we know, okay, Bob Kulick played on all these songs, or Dick Wagner played the solo on Sweet Pain, or all this different stuff. We know specifics of who played on what, like every Kiss song that was ever created. We still don't know half of who played on some of this Motley Crue stuff that I can guarantee you was not the original four.
Yeah.
Even on like Dr. Feelgood and all those albums, it was not the original four.
Yeah, but thing is that that's hard to swallow because they captured my imagination when I was 11 years old. They got me into hard rock at that time. I mean, Motley Crue was everything to me. And for me to find out this and that, it just, I really don't want to hear it. I just want to believe what I want to believe.
Yeah, it really is. You know? They were the Kiss of the 80s. They were that larger than life band. Yeah. And come to find out that they were more like Kiss than any of us ever knew.
Yeah.
and it, you know, it was always that front, like, you know, we're a gang, it's the four of us, and it's just bullshit, you know.
And then we find out that it was never that way.
Yeah. No. By the way, that drummer that played with Rao was Jimmy DeGrasso.
Oh, you're right. Yep,
who played in Megadeth and a bunch of other bands. So
I couldn't remember who was playing with them, but now you say that,
they were at war with Bobby at that time.
Yes.
So Bobby had his own. Bobby had his own version of Rat, and Juan had his own version of Rat.
That's why they went out on that tour. They hadn't toured in like 3 or 4 years or 5 years since the Infestation tour, and then Bobby did his thing in like 2016 or whenever, and so they came out, and it was literally the rest of them all came out and toured without him. Steven and Warren and Juan, and they brought Carlos back again.
Yeah,
and all of them toured one last time without Bobby.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So anything else on that, Joseph?
No. Motley Crue sucks. Let's go.
Jerry,
I'm gonna step away for a second. I'll be right back.
All right, Jerry on Steven.
New rule: any band that says they're doing a farewell tour and comes back after that, we should give no attention to from now on.
All right.
You mean
all right?
You mean the band that is now on the state fair circuit? You have no idea how much joy that gave me to see that Motley Crue is playing state fairs.
Did we not do a story about who played bass on Motley Crue's early albums?
Yeah.
It's not really Nikki Sixx or something like that. Well, I'm saying to myself, if you listen to those bass lines, they're not exactly genius bass lines. I could play those in my sleep probably. I mean, so...
Well, sometimes you can't even hear the bass.
I mean, it's like do. He's just playing with the rhythm guitar is all we're doing. You don't hear no lines or anything like that.
The only one I'll ever say, there is no way in hell that he played on Primal Scream. Not a chance in hell.
And that's if you watch him live when he's playing that song, he's barely touching his bass.
This is what I like.
He's not even touching his bass. He's like going like this.
Yeah. And the bass is still playing.
His hands are up in the air.
Or he's just literally, or he's just doing an eighth note run on the exact same.
I'm not a musician, but I know he's fucking lip playing.
He's doing an eighth note run on two notes, and that's it.
It's like, what the fuck are you playing? You're not playing shit. What is this shit? Sorry, Jerry, go for it.
Well, I mean, the original was like, what is Stephen Pearcy saying? Mick Mars without him in the band, Motley Crue is not Motley Crue.
Yeah.
I mean, they've played with basically everybody but Nikki. Even Tommy Lee missed an album, right?
Yeah. Yep. He wasn't on New Tattoo.
It's nothing new, but I agree they're better as a foursome. I mean, not anymore. They're obviously past their prime, but you know,
definitely.
So I can really care less. I mean, Nick is cool. His new album, you know, it's heavy, but fuck, so is a potato-based diet. You know how that ends up at the end. So,
well, you know what's on the other side of Mars, right?
Yeah,
Uranus.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so far, the year 2024 is not off to a great start musically. There's a couple good albums, but there's a man.
I'm looking for that Judas Priest album. Looks pretty good to me.
I have not heard the new song yet. So
I love it.
The new song is the best
I like the
one.
new releases
Yeah.
that have come out. I've been very impressed by them, and I've been hearing some pretty good albums. On my side, so
Well, I got the
you know.
new Honeymoon Suite. That sounds pretty good too.
I'd listen to that, man. I don't recognize that band anymore. They don't sound like they did back
They
then.
dude, they still
I don't know.
sound good. They still sound good. Well, they're doing Frontiers Records. You know, Frontiers Records has a formula, so still sounds good to me.
Well, what I hate about Frontiers Records is they put it out for like a week and then you can't buy it anymore. Like, try buying any of like, it pisses me off how I cannot find The Symbol Remains anywhere on CD.
You
Thank
don't have it on
Frontiers.
CD?
No. I missed out on CD and you cannot find it anywhere.
Well,
So
can
you
you
don't
go
have
to
it
the
in any
website?
form?
Their website might have it. Frontiers website.
I'm
I
not
bought a lot of
sure.
CDs from their website.
Aren't they
It's an
they're not-
Italian label.
it's
Dude,
yeah, they're not.
No, they have $5 CD sales on there
Do
all the
they?
time.
They do. Yeah, they
They
do.
have a
They do.
US
Oh, right.
version.
So
of
it sounds like
Yeah.
I'm going to be going on Frontiers website in a little
Yeah,
bit.
Yeah,
US
I've bought in quite a few CDs off them,
Frontiers
so.
US. They have US. They have their own
Sometimes I take advantage of their $5
Now,
CD.
they have that all the time. I get
Yeah.
emails. I go, "Boop, boop, boop."
Time
I got
for
the
a little,
Black
web
Swans
search.
albums.
Oh, and vinyl too. They'll have good
Oh,
deals on
yeah.
vinyl. So
They have some striper shit too. It's pretty fucking cool. But let's get to two more stories here. I think I'll start with some KK Downing. Warns that metal is in jeopardy of becoming extinct. Andy.
I think he's wrong. I'm just gonna say that. And it's hard to say that because Al, didn't you have his last album in your top 10?
yeah,
KK
I thought it was a great album.
That's a
man.
great album.
Yeah, and how can he say that when he's put out good music himself? And when Judas Priest, the band he was just in, is also touring and is still doing a record tour. And if you see all these festivals that are going on, I mean, there's a lot of hard rock, heavy metal festivals going all around the country with big bills. I mean, days and days of music. So, I don't know where he's getting this info from.
But
But
maybe because he says when the old guard dies, who's going to take their place?
when the old guard dies, rock and roll has been through this so many times before. When guards die, there's always something new. But there's not enough fans out there to pick it back up. It's like you, Mark. You point out a lot of bands that you like that's new, but there's not enough fans to keep it up. And
Yeah, like
that's
Dawn
what
of the Rising's a good new band.
Well,
out
I'm
there.
gonna disagree with you. In the United States, around the rest of the world, metal is still fucking pretty big, dude. I just think he's talking about the United States, maybe. I don't know, but I still think it's pretty big worldwide still.
Well, yeah, well, I don't know
South
what's
America,
wrong with us
especially.
here, but it's just, it's there, and fans have to flock to it. It's not the genre that's nice. It's the disappointment of fans.
Well, it's like when the Macarena and fucking I'm Too Sexy becomes #1 hits. There's something wrong with America there.
Yeah, but that was 30 years ago.
Yeah, but they still put music like that on the top of the charts. Basically, even worse than those two songs. Chumbawamba. God dang.
Yeah, but
30
that's
30 years ago.
But
Mark.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying, 30 years ago,
you.
history is repeating itself because America has not learned. The #1 songs are horrible.
Yeah, but
Still.
They always have been, Mark. They
Yeah.
always have
Pop
been.
music's always been like that, though.
But you
You've
don't
always
see
had-
it in the
You've always
top
had
10.
those. You've always had those.
what's the
Disco
one?
Duck. Disco Duck is my argument to you.
No,
Mark.
Rick D's. Fuck Rick D's.
What's the word I'm thinking of? There's always that novelty song that's going to
Yeah.
make
yeah,
it.
yeah.
What I'm
Well, not
talking
like
about,
this one.
if you
Macarena
went,
was.
you went back in time to see the charts when those songs come out in the top 10 albums, there was like rock, alternative, metal. You go look in the top
Not
10,
as much as you think.
but you go now, there's really no rock, alternative, metal in the top 20 anymore on album sales.
But charts
They'll
don't
get
really
there
mean
for
shit
1
these
week
days,
and then they're
man.
gone. You
I
know?
do
But
love
that's
the
every
fact,
album, though.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that there's shows like Stranger Things shows like that actually bring back, somewhat some of these old classic metal songs, like what the Metallica song, So I hope they keep doing that because it seems to work. People like the songs when they hear them, so it's still out there. You just gotta, I don't know, either bring it to people or I don't
Well,
know,
dude,
just
in
I
the
don't know what I'm
movies,
trying to
it's
say.
most
Just
Listen, the world has changed. The world of media has changed, dude. It's there's new. You got to think of new ways to get the stuff out there
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
If it
like,
if it has to be through a Netflix show or video
Yes.
games, like songs made video games made songs big too, and or brought
Yeah.
songs back and things like
Guitar
that.
Hero
then-
made people hard rock metal fans. So
well, Mark, you're gonna hate me saying this, but do you know what one of the biggest songs on TikTok was last year?
what?
"Mary on a Cross" by Ghost. That thing
You
got
know, they're
huge.
they're rock, so cool. That's
But
cool.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. They are one of the few bands that actually like took advantage of that format, and it organically blew up, and they took advantage of it and released it as a single, even though it was a song that was 4 or 5 years old. They released it as a single when it never was before, and they put it back into their set list, and they really started promoting that song again because it really got traction organically on TikTok. And so they built on that, and it got huge, and it was one of the biggest songs on TikTok last year. And they're really one of the only rock bands that I can even think of
But
that has
they're
taken advantage of that.
they're going further away from the rock. They're kind of going new wave.
No, they're not. They
They're still
mix it.
rock.
They mix it up, dude. There's a lot of heavy shit they come
They're
out with
not
still on their
they're
albums,
not
dude.
metal, but they're still rock.
I got
And
that I got that 45 of Mariana.
Yeah, I do too.
7 inches of Satanic Panic. Love it.
Yep.
But like there's not a lot of bands that are really like taking advantage of that, and when that is the predominant format in which young people absorb media.
Come on, Rival Sons, get your shit together.
Sorry, Mark, that one's never going to happen.
They rule though.
You see, those are
So
the
do
bands.
a lot of bands that will never ever sell a record. It's the way the world works. It always has been that way. It always will be.
Yeah, I think if Rival Sons didn't really make it big by now, that they're never gonna. They'll be like mid tier. They'll play like clubs and.
They'll play the casinos and
Although in Europe, maybe in Europe they're bigger.
Oh
Again,
no, in Europe they are bigger, just like Alter Bridge.
Again,
they're what I would say they're the Clutch of the 2010s.
I love Clutch.
Well,
Clutch
Jerry
is a very underrated band, man.
Jerry brought up a good point about perspective, man. I mean, like, we always see things through the U.S. perspective and American perspective, man. But when you go to Europe or South America, this kind of music is like fucking. It's rules down there, man. Bands are playing freaking arenas and stadiums, and look at the amount of festivals they have in Europe. I'm now there's a lot of festivals in U.S. where there was a time where there wasn't really any. Now it's all about the festival and
You
stuff.
got Rocklahoma M3, all that shit.
But all these festivals are all these festivals basically are have the same bands on them. No, it's just different names for the festivals. But
they do. It's every year. It's Slipknot and Disturbed and
yeah.
Judas Priest, I think, has played every festival known to humankind.
Now Limp Bizkit is big on the festivals,
and
Scribble. Fuck Limp Bizkit. All right,
why do you think a band like Iron Maiden, as much flack as I give them, has never really given the U.S. credit for anything? Like Iron Maiden, they play in the U.S., but they do it kind of begrudgingly. They hate America because we are the one place that never really got them the way that a lot of other places did. And a lot of
no. I just
scream for me, Long Beach.
They were big here.
They were,
the
but
biggest
they
bands
recorded their live album.
Metal was big in the 80s. Yeah.
Metal was big in the 80s, but I mean, look at all the kind of crowds that Iron Maiden played to. Look at Rock in Rio. Look at all those shows. Iron Maiden can barely pack a mid-sized theater. I'm not a theater, mid-sized arena.
They sold out the
time,
Honda Center where the Ducks play twice,
and
2
they
days
do
in
it,
a row.
and they do it every 5 years?
No, they're back. They're back over here. They're playing BMO. That's a soccer stadium. That's bigger than the Honda Center. 2 nights there.
But
like
still,
on my
like
birthday.
they're a band that has notoriously like had a grudge against America. Like they've been open about it that they.
I mean, Steve
I-
Harris
They-
said he didn't want to do Fly to Icarus because it was
Yeah,
a big hit
ever.
here for the longest time. So.
Yeah.
You know,
And like there's so many. I mean, you hear people that are not from America. They look at America like we have three heads because we're so like apart from everybody else when it comes to like the way that music is treated
Yeah.
in other countries. I mean, these
And he may
things
have
like,
a point.
Yeah.
So
Oh well, speaking of Rocklahoma, I am planning a Blackspinner Circle meetup at Rocklahoma for 2025. So,
Nice.
so
When
I
is
would like
that?
a lot of us. That's going to be on Labor Day weekend.
Oh, that's a long
2025.
ways away. Okay, cool. Yeah, I got plenty of time to prepare for that.
Yeah,
then.
but
maybe.
Kate Del Rey is going to start looking for houses that we can all stay in
That'd be
the
cool.
beginning of next
Yeah,
year.
keep me informed. I'm interested. So
Yeah.
On the
I'm
project.
trying to get as many people as want to go, and we just hang out and watch bands for 4 days. It's on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
yeah, because
And,
Rockin' Pod's in spring, I can definitely do a
Yeah.
fall thing in
Yeah.
rock.
I don't
in,
even know if
yeah.
I could get to Rockin' Pod. I'm still trying to figure that shit out.
But Mark, the one thing I'll say to kind of wrap this all up, you think the U.S. pop charts are weird? Look at the freaking British pop charts. You
Oh,
want
I
to
know.
talk about a place where the weirdest shit will make
Kylie
the top
Minogue is
10.
on there still.
Yeah, but I mean, like even like look in the '80s. You pick up any of those like the British version of like the Now That's What I Call Whatever
Yeah.
series. You look at some of the '80s ones. You will see songs that you never would have heard of in your life, and they got big in Britain. So there's something everywhere. It's not just us.
Right.
All right,
Yeah, but
man.
America has always been the measuring stick, though.
Yes.
Fans always try to make it in America, so that's,
But is it like that now?
The British public kind of reviled Def Leppard for a few years
Well-
because they got big in America.
But
Yeah.
like we talked about last week and week before, any moron can get on the computer and write a fucking hit song on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
weird
Alright.
how it works nowadays, man.
I
It
still
really
can't
does.
figure that out, but a lot of people can.
All right, Al, did you want to talk about KK Downing, the metal thing, or we already all talked about it?
I'm good with it. I mean, that's
I
all
just
have
want to
say.
make sure because I have one last story because I think it's a cool story.
You
'Cause
can
we
go
were
on, man. I'm good.
You're good. So
Yeah.
we have one last story. Ex Great White singer Jack Russell won't dish any dirt in his autobiography. He says, "What's the point?" We were talking about we were talking about Alex Van Halen's biography, talking about what Sammy did in his and shit. What do you think about Jack Russell saying he ain't gonna dish any dirt, Andy?
Oh man, I think I compliment him on that because there's enough dirt in everything we look at and read and see every day in the media. Every day when we're on Facebook, we read vile crap. So it'd be nice to read a book about. I don't know what it's going to be about, but it'd be great to hear a story about him up and coming and how he overcame a lot of the dangers that he put himself in, and he overcame that. I would like to read about that instead of throwing sling and mud on some band members that I don't even remember who they are.
What do you think about that, Al?
No, I commend him as well, man. Like if he does, it's his book, man. He can write it whatever way he wants it. Yeah, Andy's right. I mean, there's enough shit out there, like mudslinging in the out in the open anyway. So I mean, what's the point? That's probably what's the point of doing it in the book when it's already out there, in internet land and whatever. So yeah, I'd like to hear his story of how he came up and how he overcame a lot of shit too. I mean, especially with the station fire thing, man. That probably fucked him up really bad, man. Mentally and stuff. I'm sure he had to probably go to therapy for that. So I don't know if what he's gonna write about, like when that part comes up. I don't know. Did you guys ever see that documentary on that?
Oh yeah, that was sad,
Yeah.
dude. He was crying, man.
Yeah. So, but that's all I really got on that, man.
But on a side note, the album that he did this year with Tracy Guns is fantastic.
I have yet to hear that. I gotta check that out.
Man, it's really good. It's a really good hard rock solid album, man.
I like
Really.
anything that Tracy Guns does.
We know.
Shut up.
But Jack sounds fantastic. He really does. Really good song.
I like Jack Russell's Great White. They did another Zeppelin covers album, and they also did the first album they did was pretty good too. I got that really good shit. I like him. But Joseph, any thoughts on Jack?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I think it's great that he's not going to go that direction. But honestly, we can't all sit here and say that if Great White was a bigger topic and he thought it would sell, that he wouldn't do it. I don't think there's anybody in 2024 that's going to buy a book about Great White drama. I really don't. Okay, Mark, but we've established that you're special.
You know what? I like taters. I like taters.
We know. But I mean, like Great White, I feel like at this point is a band that everyone just kind of moved on from, because there's so much just like unsteadiness around that whole camp. I mean, in the past 5 years, I've seen them 3 times with 3 different singers. Like,
the new guy's really good. The kid,
he is. I know all 3 times I've seen them, the singers were pretty good. But like,
I hated Terry, and I hated that.
I love Terry. Terry was great. I thought Terry was great. I've seen him with XYZ as well, and I thought he was great.
He's a good singer, but doing Jack Russell songs, it wasn't.
I mean, it's what you're gonna get. But honestly, like I think they're a band that everyone's kind of like, okay, yeah, you guys had your time. I mean, once bitten, twice shy, yeah, woohoo. And
hey, Hooked was an amazing album.
Good album, yep.
It's a good album, but I dare anyone to know that it exists outside of the people on this podcast.
Hey, hopefully we get some kids. Hey, kiddies, check out Hook. All right.
Please don't say that.
Exactly. We got some candy.
Okay, I'm not being it. Okay, I'm not gonna crawl.
Mark's gonna come over with his white van.
Hey, I'm doing Cheap Trick. Hello, kiddies. There you go.
Okay. Right. Anyway, Jerry, say
what do you think about it, Jerry?
Yeah, Joseph, you kind of stole my thunder, and I agree with you. It's like, who the fuck is going to buy that book anyway? So
yeah.
I mean, it's from the same company that's doing the Dawkins movie. I mean, really, are they that important to where they could do a movie or a book?
But honestly, even Dawkins was a bigger name than Great
Slaughter's
White.
Gonna have a movie too.
Again, why?
But
like I said, they're gonna follow them around with little handhelds. I mean,
I like Slaughter though, but they don't need a movie. But Vinny Vincent,
no, I mean,
they don't need to be touring either. But that's a whole.
I don't mean to sound like a douchebag by saying this, but I mean, is it really? I mean, that club fire is a really interesting story. Yeah. Hey, that's a good future topic, Andy, on one of our BS shows or Your Thoughts Sound podcast. But
we'll think about.
Yeah, I mean, so what? And I don't care. I probably won't be buying that book. So.
I had an idea for a fucking episode. We do like a top 11 dead vocalist that died.
That's a bit morbid.
No, that died tragically, and we're like kind of pissed that they died.
Oh no, you gotta be careful.
That's a bit morbid, isn't it?
You gotta people like morbid shit.
You gotta be careful with your wording, though, man.
All right, number one.
Poor Andy, man. Fucking, but by saying the word suicide, man, got like fucking banned and shit from Facebook.
All right, well, don't say that word right now. But Jerry, we're done with the BS.
I didn't say that.
See, this is why we pre-record this, so you can edit that out.
I'm not gonna edit that shit
at the an hour and 6 minute mark.
Nah, I'm good. Jerry,
what?
We're done with BS, bitch.
All right, so it's time to do what we're all gathered here for tonight. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. We're doing what would you call it? It's a Civil War battle, but an internal Civil War? No, that's what
a Civil War is internal.
A Civil War, I guess. I don't know what to call it. One of the greatest war. Yeah, and one of the greatest albums ever made, in my opinion, from one of my favorite bands, Pink Floyd's The Wall. I mean, what can you say about that the movie, the soundtrack, the Roger Waters awesome concert that he did in the late 80s, or was it early 90s, something like that?
1990.
Yeah, just I mean, it never gets old, in my opinion, dude. Just I can listen to that album every time it comes on. I watch the movie quite often, man. I just love the whole idea, the whole concept behind the album. And yeah, it's just gonna be interesting doing track by track on each side 1 versus side 2. Like I said earlier, I mean, the hits are the hits, but it's going to be these little like minute and a half instrumentals and shit like that are going to be battles.
Some of
kind
those,
of interesting.
some of those go up together though. That's
Yeah,
pretty
they
cool.
Yeah.
some of them
They do
work together.
It matches a lot. So I was
I
checking.
mean, there's a few blowouts, but other than that, it should be pretty interesting. All right. Well, should we do history of the wall, or we all know what
no,
fucking
you talk about it.
I
man.
think everybody knows the wall.
we all know the wall. We don't
Well,
need
maybe there's
anybody to tell you.
people. Okay, go ahead. Do a quick one for the people who don't know who Pink Floyd
All right,
is.
Andy, the wall. What's your opinion on the wall? What do you think about it?
My opinion on the wall, it's one of the greatest concept albums ever made. I love the storyline. But also I want to say that this is going to be the beginning of the end of Pink Floyd with Roger Waters. He really does take a lot of complete control on this.
Yeah.
I mean, when David Gilmour is on here, he's fantastic, but he's on here few and far in between for me. And I love this album. If there was some more Gilmour in there, imagine there was more Gilmour in here. But this is basically a Pink Floyd album with Bob Ezrin on the more than just being a producer. He is really getting his hands dirty in there along with Roger. And you can tell that, especially on side 4. There's the big time Bob Ezrin influence on side 4 that kind of takes away from the band as of being Pink Floyd. So I'll talk about that when I get on that. But a lot of young people out there that are getting to Pink Floyd because of their name is one of the most popular names. This is a very rewarding album to get into by Pink Floyd.
Al?
Oh man, I remember a little kid and hearing Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 on the radio, and my brother had the original vinyl, and this is the original vinyl right here.
Nice.
It didn't even have a name on it. It just bricks.
Yeah.
I'll pull it out real quick and open it up, and look at that insert there. I got the remastered vinyl right here.
That's the one I got.
Never even opened it yet, to be honest with you, but I do have it, so I have both versions. Bob Ezrin's production, man. It's definitely a Bob Ezrin production, man. I mean, there's a lot of bells and whistles on this album. Like, sounds fantastic, man. I mean, the production and the clarity and just the way it's so produced and it's perfect sound for a concept album. I mean, and it is it's the concept album that all other concept albums are measured up against. And let's be real here, So it's such an ambitious album, and I have a friend of mine that went to that original Wall tour in Nassau Coliseum, one of the shows in Nassau Coliseum in New York, and I remember it was real funny, real quick. He says, like, at the end of the show, because obviously they played the Wall all the way through from beginning and end, and then that was it. They didn't play anything else, and he remembers when they were walking, people were walking out disappointed. Oh, why didn't they play Money? Why didn't they? And my friend was laughing. He's like, because it wasn't about that. It's about the concept, and that's it. And I saw Roger Waters' version years later. I saw them at Yankee Stadium, 2 shows. I saw both shows there. I also saw them at Madison Square Garden too. And I mean, I think the technology finally caught up to Roger's vision. That stage show is just, I've never seen another stage show. I don't think a stage show will ever measure up to that.
Yeah,
incredible. Kiss could talk all the smack they want.
Yeah.
Never have a stage show like that, man. An ambitious thing, like, it's just a different kind of stage show, though.
Yeah.
We all know, like, bombs, fires, all have their place in rock, but this was just fantastic, man. So, I mean, it's a great album. I can't wait to do this, so let's get,
All right, Joseph.
Started.
Well, we all know Bob Ezrin's history with concept albums.
Yeah.
In 1975, he did Welcome to My Nightmare. In 1979, he did The Wall, and then he finally, his crowning achievement in 1981, The Best of Them All, Music from the Elder. We all know it's the best, but yeah, I mean,
I love that album though.
So do I, honestly. Like, jokes aside, I love that album, but it's not The Wall.
No, it's not.
But yeah, no, this is one of the greatest albums of all time. infamously troubled production. I mean, Richard Wright was basically kicked out of Pink Floyd during the production of this album.
But he was the only one to make money on the tour.
To make money on the tour because he was technically an employee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did not invest money. He got money per show. He did not get money based on the residuals. He was the only person to make money during that.
He was a salaried employee.
He was.
Yeah.
I mean, the production is infamously troubled. I mean, this is peak cocaine Bob Ezrin. Roger was just kind of taking everything over, to the point where we know how it kind of goes from there. The tour was infamously a mess to the point where they only played it in 5 different locations. And they were so disappointed in it. They filmed it all, but they never released the film. And like Al said, technology finally caught up with Roger's vision, thankfully, and we got the amazing tours that he's done. Of course, the Berlin show in 1990 that is just spectacular, all the interpolation of different artists, and then of course the tours that he's done since. But I mean, this album is a perfect example of brilliant music coming out of some just absolute chaos. Because that's what this album was. I mean, this is 4 guys and a producer who none of whom were on the same page and managed to produce one of the greatest albums of all time. Isn't that always how it happens, though?
Isn't that amazing how that happens, though, man?
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Beatles.
Then what happened with the Elder?
Coked up Bob Ezrin and Peter Criss wasn't there, so Ace really got outvoted.
Okay.
Like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Jerry.
Oh, well, anyway,
wake up.
No, I thought you guys were still talking. I mean, yeah, I've already said my piece about it. I mean, I love the movie. I watch it quite often. They do a lot of different versions of the songs on the movie that aren't on the album. Some of them are actually better on the movie than they are on the album, vice versa.
100%.
One of the mysteries of the Wall movie is why wasn't Hey You in it? You guys know the answer to that?
No.
Neither do I. Why wasn't it in the movie?
Will always remain a mystery.
They have a deleted scene of it on the DVD. They have it. So why wasn't it put in the movie? I never understood that. But anyway, fuck that. Let's get on to the battle here.
Mark, take a big rip and ponder on that one for a while.
Yeah,
I did. Hey, we're doing Pink Floyd, so I'm smoking the flower now. There you go. In honor of this album.
All right. I think if you look at the movie, it went from Goodbye Cruel World to Nobody Home, right?
I haven't watched that movie in years. I need to watch it again.
It did.
Because of the way the visual of it, I think it kind of went together. Maybe Hey You was kind of I don't know. But I guess
I always have to be in the frame. I always have to be in the right frame of mind to watch that movie, man. You know, it's just not. It was never something I could just throw on. No, not even smoking pot or anything like that. But just, I just have to be in the right frame of mind or like right mood to watch that movie. It's just something I could never just slap on. Let me just throw this on.
Song remains the same, dude. That you get really stoned to that.
Yeah, I'll be talking about the movie songs when I do this, but
okay.
Not to mention the Wall has, in my opinion anyway, the best guitar solo ever fucking laid down on tape. And
we'll probably talk.
We know what song that is.
A couple of them, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's another good thing about this album. But anyway, let's just get to the battle here. Let's see. We will start with Andy. Number one, In the Flesh versus Hey You.
Right off the bat, it's tough. But man, I'm gonna have to go with In the Flesh. Over Hey You. I thought once again the introduction to this album is just, it's eerie, man. Yeah. It's just, it starts off just banging your head. Hey You was a really good one, a really good song, but it was in the middle of the album. It wasn't the mood setter. And that's what I like about In the Flesh. And the lyrics are just so nihilistic. It's great. Yeah. So I'm going with In the Flesh.
All right, Al.
I'm gonna agree with Andy on this, so I'm gonna go with In the Flesh.
Oh,
Hate,
wow.
but this is a tough one, man. Like
Yeah,
they're
real
both
hard.
great songs. They're both great starters for each particular side of disc one, disc two. Both great openers, man. Perfect openers from in my opinion. But I mean, in the Flesh, just the way it just goes, dun, like it
Yeah.
just kind of announces that it's
Yeah,
there.
you really can't tell when it's coming. You know it's coming, and all of a sudden, dun-dun. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
And especially seeing that live, man. Once that fucking kicks in, it kind of scares the shit out of you, man.
Right.
Because you just don't know when it's gonna like happen.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
and then I don't know, it's just such a bombastic way to start the album. I think it's and the way Rogers sings in that, like, so yeah, thought you, I mean, it's just a perfect opener, you know.
To a show.
Yeah,
And
dude. It's
especially on vinyl because you're waiting for something to happen. On CD, you press play and it starts, but on vinyl, it's
Yeah.
quiet and then you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
holy shit!
Yeah.
It's
It's
awesome.
almost like, I mean, in a way, it's almost kind of a punk rock way to start a fucking album, man. Like it's just like there, man, right in your face, dude. So
Yeah,
I'm
you know
going with
what?
In the Flesh. That's my pick.
All right,
It starts
Joe.
off with Gilmore little solo.
Yeah.
Dun, dun. I mean,
Okay.
it starts off a story, is what it does.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Joe.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, probably the third hardest battle for me. Couldn't be any more different of a way to open these two sides. And I think both of them are perfect for the way that they do. I mean, the main character is in such a different place at the beginning of In the Flesh than he is going from Goodbye Cruel World into Hey You. I mean, it's just the where that's at. And speaking about the 1990 show, every time I think of In the Flesh, all I can think of is the Scorpions coming out in a big stretch limousine, coming out and playing this song. But all that being said, I got to go with Hey You. I just something about that song. It just I like I said, probably the third hardest battle for me. In the Flesh is an amazing opener. It starts some of the themes that will be repeated, even particularly the same track almost again later in the album. But I mean, just the kind of eeriness of Hey You with an amazing guitar solo in this probably one of the other most, I mean, we all know what the most famous guitar solo is off this album. Another of the most famous, well-known guitar solos in this song, Hey, will you help build the wall, into the guitar solo. And I mean, it's great way to, both are great ways to open each disc, but for me, I just had to go with AU.
Mark.
Echoing Joseph on this one. It's just that acoustic playing that Gilmore is doing is so fucking haunting. It's like, yeah, In the Flesh comes a dun dun, but that fucking side two starts like serene and haunting, and the lyrics you're hearing him sing, it's like fucking disturbing. It's like, god damn. I fucking love Hey You, so I'm going for Hey You, man.
Yeah. What I love about Hey You also is Gilmore has that high strung guitar sound that he strings it differently than normal guitars. It just sounds amazing. And then what's very underrated is the fucking bass playing underneath that boom boom boom, just fucking so cool sounding.
It sure isn't Nikki Sixx, I'll tell you that.
No. I fucking love the fretless bass. I wish a lot of people would use it. It just sounds so fucking
Tony
cool
Franklin, man, fretless
Yeah.
wonder. There you go.
Yep. But In the Flesh, great song too, and it starts the movie off banging too, dude. With the dude just sitting there, the maid knocking on the door, then door breaks in, and you saw the crowd rushing the stage or whatever the fuck's going on. It's still cool, fucking how that starts out. Song wise, yeah, but I got to go with Hey You too, man. I really do like that song, and they did that song when I saw them in the Division Bell tour, so that was kind of a plus. So, got to go with Hey You.
Well, Hey You wins 3-2 on that one. So,
but all maybe not lost for In the Flesh. You never know. You might come back and win eventually. Okay. Yeah. Number 2, the Thin Ice verse. Is there anybody out there, Andy?
If you should go skating on the thin ice
Thin
of
Ice
modern
of
life,
life.
hell yes. Thin ice, easily
Thin
for
Ice.
me. Yeah.
Al?
Yeah, man, I'm going with the Thin Ice as well, man. I love the I love the I love the harmonizing that they do, like the singing in that, man. It's just great. Is there anybody out there I mean, they're both great tracks too, man. You know, but like, is there anybody out there that's kind of like the droning synthesizer on there is really cool and everything. But I mean, I got to go with the Thin Ice. I just love when it goes from that bombastic of In the Flesh and it just kind of just goes into this serene kind of, Thin Ice. And then the lyrics that Andy just, if you should go skating on a thin ice. Yeah, it's just perfect, man. The flow is really cool like this. So I'm
And
going to go.
then and then the keyboard, it's
Yeah,
just so good,
yeah,
man. It's so
yeah.
good.
And
All
don't
right,
be
Joe.
surprised in the crack in the ice. Okay. go ahead.
Appears
Yeah.
under your
Your
feet.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, we go from one of the tougher battles to one of the more lopsided ones, in my opinion. I mean, we said in the beginning that a lot of the shorter tracks kind of end up matching against each other. This is one of the only ones where that's not really the case, where one of the tracks that's not as much of a standalone song goes up against one that is more of a standalone song. And so I definitely have to go with the Thin Ice on this one. But uh, is there anybody out there? It's a great little mood piece that kind of continues the story. But I mean, the Thin Ice really continues strong from where In the Flesh really started out. And if you follow along with my picks, you'll notice that this is a tale of two sides almost, when it comes to side 1 versus side 3 and side 2 versus side 4.
Gotcha. All right, Mark, you're up.
I'm going with everybody. Like Joseph said, it's a lopsided battle. Thin Ice. We already did the karaoke for you, so I'll pick that one, man.
All
Unless
right,
Jerry wants to sing now.
What? That's one of the
You
best
haven't sang yet?
Is anybody out there? It's one of the fucking best acoustic fucking riffs ever, dude.
Yeah.
Really? I think
Agreed.
it's a lot better than the Thin Ice. I mean, I love that little acoustic riff. It's fucking fantastic. The A minor, the F, and just brilliantly done. The musicianship, the whole sound of that song is amazing. I do like the Thin Ice, but I'll take Is There Anybody Out There by a long shot. So
All right. This is
just
tied.
because that's one, I love playing that riff. It's just a fun, easy riff to play, dude. I mean, so that's why
So
I'm
now
picking.
it's tied 4-4, man.
All right.
The Thin Ice wins that one 4-1, but the album is tied 4-4 now.
No.
Part 1, part 2.
No,
What?
it would be 5 to. No,
He
Because
voted for Thin Ice.
no 6. It would be 6-4 side.
Well, side
1.
part 2 got 3 on track 1, 3 to
Yeah,
2.
and it only got 1 on track 2.
And in track 2, we were
Got
on the Thin Ice right
2,
now.
and we're not. Don't try to do the math yet, Mark, because you're messing up.
It's all about the fun. It's all about the fun.
Andy
okay?
and Al both picked picked In the Flesh, and 4 of us picked the Thin Ice.
Yeah,
That's 6.
we got 5 people on the show.
And that means after 2 tracks, there's been 10 picks.
6-4.
It's
All
6 to
go
4.
ahead. 6-4, part 1 or 2?
Yes, part 1.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
All right, track number 3, Another Brick in the Wall, part 1 versus Nobody Home, Andy. And I got 13 channels of shit on the TV to choose from.
I am going to go with Nobody Home. I love that song. Yeah. Nobody Home is what I'm going to go with.
Al?
The Wall Part 1 kind of takes a while to get going. This is a very good acoustic song. Yeah. That's what I'm going with.
All right, Al?
I'm actually gonna go with Another Brick Part 1. To me, that just starts. The setup is starting there now. Like now, the flow of the album is starting to begin. The concept is really starting to take shape here. I'm going with Another Brick Part 1.
All right, Joe.
Daddy's flown across
Across
the
the
ocean. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going with Another Brick Part 1. Like Al said perfectly, the setup really begins after 2 tracks that kind of introduce the world that this is being set up in. This is where we kind of dive head first into what will take up the rest of disc 1. I mean, the Another Brick in the Wall really kind of sandwiches the rest of disc 1. So this is where the album really kicks into high gear for me. I'm definitely going with Another Brick in the Wall Part 1. I mean, Nobody's Home is a great track, but I'm definitely have to go with Part 1.
All right, Mark.
I'm gonna go with Nobody's Home. I love Another Brick in the Wall, Part 1, but and I like Nobody's Home. It's very haunting. I love it. So that's my pick.
It's such a solitude track.
Yeah.
You know, the mind frame that he's in during that moment. Just
Yeah.
amazing.
All right, I am going to go with Nobody Home, just because it's it's a very Sid Barrett kind of a throwback to him, kind of, especially in the movie where he's got the cigarette burning all the way to the to the butt. I mean, you read the story about Sid Barrett, he was like zoned out so many times that he'd seem like just a minute gone by when actually an hour went by. That's what that song kind of reminds me of. But I'd like what you guys said about Another Brick in the Wall Part 1 is a lot of sense. It's starting to build up to it.
Yeah.
But I can't go with the movie versions. You're right. That's what I'm doing. I need to stop that. So I gotta go with Another Brick in the Wall just because of the sound, the album track. So yeah, I agree with you guys on that.
Song.
Yeah. But on the movie, I would definitely take the Nobody Home clip. I mean, Another Brick in the Wall is kind of sad. That poor kid, following that, that guy around thinking this is his father, at the playground. It's really sad, So,
It is, yeah.
but as far as the album, definitely, I'll take Another Brick in the Wall Part 1.
Another Brick in the Wall Part 1.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Which one are you taking, Jerry?
Another Brick in the Wall Part 1. I was thinking to myself, why am I thinking about the movie version? I need to be thinking about the album version.
See, you changed it on me. You said Nobody's Home first.
Yeah, I did. I changed that one because I need to think about the album.
That was 3-2 for Part 1, and Part 2 got 2. All right, go ahead, Jerry.
All right, number 4, The Happiest Days of Our Lives versus Vera. Andy.
I absolutely love the song Vera. Absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite songs off this album.
Really?
It is, yes. It tears me up every time I hear it. Every time I hear it. Even today at work, it kind of teared me up when I was going through it. It'll always be Vera. I think that's just it's such a short, heartbreaking song. I love it. Vera. What's become of you?
All right,
I
Al.
remember you said when we again.
I'm gonna go the other way. Happiest Days of Our Lives, because the setup with Another Brick in the Wall Part 1 flows right into there. Now it's really the flow of it is starting to really happen. So I can't I can't break it up now. And I was never Vera's good, but I was never a huge fan of it. If I have to pick one or the other, I'm going Happiest Days of Our Lives. So
yeah. All right, Joe.
So when I was a kid listening to classic rock radio, the only way that they would ever play Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 was if they played Happiest Days of Our Lives before it. So when I heard that helicopter, I knew what was coming. And to this day, just such an amazing little short piece with the droning of the helicopter into the loudspeaker voice of the teacher into the just this amazing bass line, and then the part with a little kind of spoken word into the choir rising up into what we will eventually talk about in a minute. But absolutely have to go with Happiest Days of Our Lives. Vera is a cool track. Never been the biggest fan of it, kind of like Al said, but just like it would hurt my heart not to pick Happiest Days of Our Lives just because of like the history I have with it growing up and like looking forward to whenever they played on the radio, hearing that intro to the point where when I started listening to other radio stations that didn't play it, I was upset that it just went right into We Don't Need No, and it didn't play Happiest Days of Our Lives. Like that actually upset me as a kid if they didn't play that.
Yeah, that's the problem with some of the sites like Pandora and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They won't play that. They'll play like just that song on its own. You know what I mean? Which is
or if you like shuffle your phone or something, you have to
I hate that.
You have to merge the tracks together.
Yeah.
Just to interject a second here again, you know, I've heard like people say, you know, the Wall, and I have heard this, and I've heard people say, the Walls have some filler in it. Absolutely fucking not. I think like you can't take any songs out of this album, man. Not at all. It's meant to be listened to from beginning to end. Really, I mean, honestly, and it's one of those battle album things that I don't think you could do. Like, you know, your Andy has his ideas. Let's make two into one. I don't think that'll ever work for this album. You can never do it, man.
One of the only double albums that I think you could never do that for.
Yeah. So that's my take on that, man. You can't take any tracks out of this. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Vera, it still belongs there. And when it comes on in the album, I still enjoy the fuck out of it, man, because it's just part of the mood. It's the mood of the album.
It'd be like taking a chapter out of a book.
Exactly. Yep.
And it's kind of hard in doing this exercise as well, because as you go through it like this, it's like doing the same thing with Night at the Opera by Queen. There are some little pieces that when you pull them out on their own don't quite stand up as well. Vera is a great example of that. When you pull out these pieces, or if you look at Night of the Opera, you pull out Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon or Seaside Rendezvous or some of those little pieces throughout an album like that, it doesn't stand up as well on its own. Like if you're ranking all the songs on Night at the Opera, of course, those are going to be like the bottom 3 or 4. But when you listen to the album all the way through, like that is part of the inherent DNA of the album, the same way that it is for an album like The Wall. And that's what's so hard about doing an exercise like this is it may sound like there's some songs that we talk about, we're like, it doesn't stand up as well on its own, but when I'm listening to the album, I never think that.
Yeah. And I think originally it was supposed to be a triple album, this one. Because the final cut really, I think, is leftovers from stuff from this session. So you know. I always wondered, like, if it would have been a fully realized triple album, like where the other songs would have been inserted in this. You know what I mean?
I can't even imagine.
I know in the movie there's the When the Tigers Broke Free, right? Isn't that an extra?
There's that one, and there's another one, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
And that's like one of my favorite tracks, and it's not even on the album.
It's on the live album.
It is.
Yeah. Live.
And I do love that 1980-81 that the Wall tour live album.
Mm-hmm. That's the one with the 4 faces on it.
Yeah.
I have that.
Yeah.
I think it's called Is There Anybody Out There, right?
Yes,
that's what it's called.
it is.
Out there. Great album.
All right, Mark.
Where are we at? Happiest
Days versus Vera.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with the other two because well, except for Andy. Andy likes Vera. I like Vera, but you can't take it out of it. But
I'm not sure.
Shut up, Alexa.
She agreed. She disagreed.
I'm not sure. Fuck you, Alexa. How does she fucking listen to me? I'm gonna have to unplug her. 1 second. All right. So I'm gonna go for a Happiest Days of Our Lives. Vera's good in the context of the album, but it's not like something you want to hear separate. The Happiest Days of Our Lives goes right into Another Brick in the Wall, like Joseph said. So I'm picking that one.
All right, yeah, I do like Vera. It is an important part of the album, but it's a standalone track. I don't think you actually hear that on the radio. But in Happiest Days of Our Lives, again, what Al says, it just builds into Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, and the helicopter in the beginning just is awesome. So yeah, this is actually a no-brainer for me. Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. I mean, Happiest Days of Our Lives. Excuse me.
Speaking about the helicopter, the soundscape of this album. It just the soundscape that this album gives you.
It's a definite headphone album.
Man.
Oh yeah. And
yeah, I remember.
Alone on
go ahead, sorry. Yeah, I remember seeing the show live, man. I was like wasted in they had the fucking spotlights when the helicopter was coming out, shining everywhere. It was just fucking just a badass live. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you
So
on that one.
that was 4-1 on that song battle. So right now, part 1 leads 13-7.
So number 5, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 versus Bring the Boys Back Home, Andy. I think this is going to be a sweep.
The Wall Part 2.
Yeah.
Even though I do like Bring the Boys Back Home, and it comes out right after Vera.
Yeah.
It just comes on because Vera is such a quiet track, and then it comes this big bombast choir. But of course I'm gonna take On the Wall Part 2.
Just another weird part of the movie too, but it was very. But anyway, Al, what do you think?
Again, this is to me, like, Brick Part 1, Happy Stays Alive, Brick Part 2. That's like a trilogy that's kind of unto itself. Like, so I can't go against Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. I gotta include it. And that's like, that was a big radio hit for them, man. When I was a kid, hearing that, and then and people say that it's Pink Floyd's disco song because it does have that disco beat to it. That's the closest they got to a disco song.
Don't
It's
ruin
not,
it
but
for me.
no, but the beat, I can see, the beat. And I've heard remixes of that song that DJs have done. So it's got that kind of disco 4 on the floor beat, to it.
I heard a trance mix. It was horrible.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going Brick 2, man. Although I will say, Bring the Boys Back Home. Seeing that live when I saw Roger Waters do it in the Wall, I mean, I got emotional during that song because of the whole scenery and everything with the war, and like, the war was going full bore, and Bring the Boys Back Home. I mean, it was just the visuals that he was like showing while that song was playing. I mean, it literally brought tears to my eyes. It was emotional, man. So in a live setting, Bring the Boys Back Home,
Right.
Dude.
Yeah.
But I'm going Brick in the Wall. If we're going album, Part 2.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's probably going to be a clean sweep. I mean, probably one of the most lopsided battles for me. Bring the Boys Back Home is a great part of that sort of flow of disc 2, but Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 is such an important part of disc 1, and it's kind of like the centerpiece of disc 1 in a way. Everything kind of builds up to that and then decrescendos from it in the next song, and I definitely have to go with that one.
Mark?
Come on, Bring the Boys Back Home is fucking not as good as Another Brick in the Wall Part fucking 2, man. Fucking yeah, I'd be crazy if I picked Bring the Boys Back Home, but it does, like Al said, you can't take anything off this album. It goes into context of the album really well. So I'm picking Another Brick in the Wall, Brick Part 2.
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. I'm picking it too. Talk about another great fucking David Gilmour solo, man. Holy shit. Never disappoints, in my opinion. He's one of the best guitar players ever, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, Another Brick in the Wall. I remember owning that single, man. It had that, and it had One of My Turns on the back of it, a little 45. One of the first 45s I ever owned, actually. So yeah, memories, and you hear it's still a great song. It's overplayed, maybe, but it's still cool. So, but I'll still take it over Bring the Boys Back Home. So that's a clean sweep on that one. That's our first sweep.
Yeah.
The next one. Next one.
Why did you do this to me, Jerry?
The next,
Jerry, why
this
did you do this to me?
This is one of the worst ones ever.
Well, since Andy smart to get out of it. Oh, here he comes back.
Here he comes. We're putting him on the spot. We're putting him on the spot.
I wonder if this is a tough battle for Andy too.
I wonder, Andy. Okay, Mother versus Comfortably Numb, man.
Oh my god. I like even have to grab a beer for this one. I just love the guitar work on Comfortably Numb. But man, the songwriting and the storytelling of Mother.
I know. This one's gonna hurt.
And the way that Roger sings Mother. Oh my god. And then you go back to the movie as well. You can't forget the visual of Mother. And you also can't forget the visual of Comfortably Numb.
Yep.
they're both so important to this album. They're both this was one of the hard ones as well for me. I'm going to go with Comfortably Numb just because I hear it more on the radio, and I love that song first because I was already very familiar with that song before I heard The Wall, if y'all know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Comfortably Numb.
All right, Al.
This might be the toughest battle of the album, man. I mean, honestly, dude. I mean, Mother is such a great. I mean, Mother, do I trust the government? You know, it's again, you know, it's
Relevant.
the relevance, man, of it. But I mean, Comfortably Numb is just that's like kind of almost like their stairway to heaven, man. Like it's like the most like one of the most iconic guitar solos of all time, dude. It's like, how do you even ignore that, man? You know, it's like I don't know, man. Like just the way it's so, just the soaring quality, like at the end when it just the build up of it, and I don't know, man. Just I gotta go Comfortably Numb on this one, man.
All right, Joe.
How in an album with 26 tracks,
Yeah.
do my two absolute by far favorite tracks on each disc
Meet each other.
line up? How does that
that.
happen? These are two songs that would beat literally anything on the other disc, and they perfectly match up. As soon as I picked up my CD and I said, "You gotta be kidding me." Oh my. I mean, like what Andy and Alan both said, both of these songs, I mean, the songwriting on Mother and the acoustic playing and the vocals and the lyrics and everything is just so absolutely beautiful. And then you look at Comfortably Numb, and of course the guitar solo, but I think the lyrics of Comfortably Numb are super underrated. Like you don't really hear people talk about it as much. And I think it's some of the most amazing lyrics on the album, even though some of it's very kind of abstract, but like it's so memorable. Like you can sing this entire song word for word, probably. Like all of us probably could. It's just it hurts. It hurts so bad, but Comfortably Numb.
Mark.
There'll be no more. Won't you tell me where it hurts? This is like that haunting. Hello, hello. Is there anybody out there? Just not if you could hear me. You know, it's like, and when he goes, just a little pinprick, there'll be no more. It's like, gotta. Our friend of the Freeform Rock podcast, the Pinpricks, they took their name from that fucking lyric right there. They called themselves the Pinpricks because of that lyric from Pink Floyd. Roner Kaminsky, Pinpricks, check them out. I'm promoting them. They fucking rule. They're from Germany. Fucking female-led newer band that you guys need to check out. So I'm picking Comfortably Numb, even though I fucking love Mother. Mother is just fucking so amazing. It's like, Mother, do you think they'll drop the bomb? And acoustic playing, but fucking Comfortably Numb. That solo is the fucking best solo that was ever recorded in history. That's just my opinion.
Mother, will she tear your little boy apart?
Apart.
Oh my
The way
God.
the way he sings, it's just fucking awesome.
It's just
But
creepy and good.
This really wasn't hard for me per se. Because Comfortably Numb is definitely the superior song of the two, but I fucking love Mother so much, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
They got swept. That's crazy.
so I mean, it's just you can't. I mean, Joseph, you know all the words to it, but you can sing the guitar solo. You know what I mean. You can hum the whole guitar solo just about. It's so it's that in our brains. It's such great fucking music, and yeah, Comfortably Numb. I love fucking Mother though, dude. It sucks that I have to that song. Calling that song a loser, definitely not. It just came across a superior tune. So
yeah,
Comfortably Numb.
That's the first time I went to the second disc. That was my first second disc pick because the first 5 songs I picked the first. Yeah, so.
All right, so another good one coming up here. These are actually 2 really good songs. Actually, I think I know which way it's going to lean, but we'll see. Andy, Goodbye Blue Sky versus The Show Must Go On.
The restroom. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna go with Goodbye Blue Sky. Did they drop the falling bombs? It's just so good. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Goodbye Blue Sky.
Al?
Goodbye Blue Sky for me, man. This is actually, this is like one of my favorite songs on the album. I love this song, man. It's like one of those songs, like, yeah, if I'm listening to the album all the way through on CD, like I'll skip back to it and I'll listen to it again one more time. I love the harmonizing in it. I love the acoustic playing that Gilmour does,
Man, it's amazing.
Metallica kind of ripped it off for Fade to Black if you really listen to it.
Yeah.
But it's a great song to rip off, dude.
Right.
So, I just love the mood of the song. I love it's beautiful and then it's haunting at the same time. It's just you ever see that video? Like, have you ever seen the the part from the movie where the blood, they show the soldiers falling, the animated
cross,
right?
The cross, the cross, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just so powerful, man. That if you take that clip out of the movie and just watch on its own, it's amazing.
Yeah,
so
people in the tunnels with the gas masks on, and it's just a cool animation.
Look, mommy, it's a little plane up in the sky.
What did Andy vote for before?
Goodbye Blue Sky.
Both of them voted for.
That's my pick too. Goodbye Blue Sky.
Cool.
All right, Joe.
This is another kind of hard one. There are two really underrated tracks for me on this album, but I'm going to go against the grain here, and I'm going to go with Show Must Go On. I think they're both great tracks, but I'm going to go with the Show Must Go On. This, if you guys will notice, will probably start a theme for most of the rest of this. Most of the rest of this review of the first half, I was really just track of disc one, starting to flip over here a little bit. Disc two starting to pick up some steam here. It got a lot of its short tracks out of the way in the beginning part, and now you'll see disc one is starting to have some of its short tracks.
Gotcha. Mark.
Oh God, like I heard, look, mommy, there's no more planes up in the sky. It's just like you hear this little girl go with an English accent go, that's fucking cool. And then you go, did you hear that, Bob? It's fucking haunting and shit. And I love The Show Must Go On. It's fucking great, but Goodbye Blue Sky wins this one for me.
Yeah. I love Gilmour's vocals on The Show Must Go On. I think it's really good. But Goodbye Blue Sky, holy shit. It sounds out so nice, the acoustic. Then all of a sudden, dun, 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 with the synthesizers and all that. It just goes, it gets evil right away. It's just a great
and the harmonies, man.
Just a fucking well-written tune, man. So yeah, this is definitely, another, well, no, Joseph actually picked Show Must Go On. So
I did.
I am Goodbye Blue Sky, definitely. All right. This is gonna be kind of interesting, this one here. Empty Spaces versus In the Flesh with the question mark, or is it the first one, the question mark?
First one has the question mark.
First one has the question mark. Okay.
Is it me?
Yep.
This one was really good too. I'm gonna have to side with In the Flesh, just like I did the first time. I'm gonna have to go with In the Flesh, which this one was hard for me too, because I'll talk about the sides here afterwards.
Let's not sing any of the song. Let's
not. Let's not.
But let's go with In the Flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's karaoke coming.
We will not on this track. I hope we will.
No. But there's karaoke coming on, like a battle. Both of them need to be sung. All right, go ahead.
All right, Al.
Yeah, I'm going back to In the Flesh as well, man. Although the band I used to be in, we used to do Empty Spaces into Young Lust, which I loved playing. But if I'm gonna pick a track, I'm gonna go back to In the Flesh on this one. I love now how the there's like recurring themes on the album now. Like it's going back to like some things that happened early on. It's almost
Yeah.
like remembrances and like shit like
Right.
that. So yeah, so I'm in the flesh for me.
All right, Joe.
So remember how earlier in the review I said I can never hear Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 without Happiest Days of Our Lives. And
Yeah.
in that case, I picked both of those songs. This is the opposite, where I don't think it behooves either of these tracks to be separated on the album, considering what they're going up against. So whether it's a spoiler for my next pick, I'm picking In the Flesh as well. I think Empty Spaces is a great intro, and I can never hear Young Lust without hearing Empty
Right.
Spaces. They always play them together on the
How
radio.
can I leave the
Complete the
wall? Dun dun dun. Yeah,
Boom.
pretty fucking killer. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going with In the Flesh. Even though I think Empty Spaces is an amazing track. It really this is a great example of returning to a theme that was earlier in the album and showing how far the character has descended
Yeah.
into madness. And I mean, as much as we cannot say the lyrics here on this delightful YouTube channel, those lyrics, as much as now we know some things about Roger Waters personally,
Yeah.
there's a lot that those lyrics are important to the album and what it says about the character.
The character, that's what it
I've-
is.
Yeah.
I myself have never heard anything badly said about that. Have you publicly about the lyrics in that song?
No, I've not. I know there's one particular line that people now go back to because of Roger Waters' stance
Right.
publicly on the Jewish people, let's say. That's the only one that I ever hear pushback against. And even then it's not really about the lyrics themselves, it's just about Roger Waters as a person.
Yeah. All right, Mark, your pick.
I'm gonna go with In the Flesh because Empty Spaces is part of the next song. And it's fucking works perfect, but it's not a complete song compared to In the Flesh to me.
Yeah, I have to go with In the Flesh as well. But if they had the movie version of Empty Spaces on the album, I might have to go with that version. I love the extended version on the movie of it. But on the album, I got to go with In the Flesh.
Well, it's even considered a whole different track, isn't it? It's not even called Empty Space. It's called something different.
Yeah. Fuck. Something Bricks. No. Oh.
Let me look it up because it's when they played it live, it's something different as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say on that channel or that app on TV called Quillo, they do have the Wall from 1990 in Berlin for you to stream. So I was just checking that out.
It's called What Shall We Do Now?
What shall? Yeah, I knew it was one of the lyrics. I couldn't remember exactly which one. But so we're all done, right? Okay. Oh
9,
God, jeez, man,
Yep.
another one.
The second hardest battle.
No, this one's definitely going to be harder than the Comfortably Numb one, in my opinion. To me, this is the hardest battle. Young Lust versus Run Like Hell. Andy,
Young Lust.
Ooh,
I'm
you're
not
quick and decided about that.
Yeah, I am.
Al,
Run Like Hell, even though it's very hard for me, even though I played Young Lust in a band and I love that song. Run Like Hell is just, I don't know, it's just to me, I don't know, it's just a little stronger for me. So
all right, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of teased it a little bit a couple minutes ago that maybe this would have been different if Empty Spaces and Young Lust were one track. It might have stood a little bit more of a chance against one of another one of my favorite songs of this album. I mean, and this is another one that just you got to kind of take the live out of it as well, just because it's just a great sing along, run. But I definitely have to go with Run Like Hell. I mean, I think it's the stronger track. I think it would be a really tough battle for me if you paired up Empty Spaces and Young Lust against Run Like Hell. I think Empty Spaces and Young Lust might take it, but if they're split up like they are on the album, just Young Lust versus Run Like Hell, I think I'm gonna go with Run Like Hell.
Good points.
All right, Mark.
Oh man, ooh, I need a dirty woman. Oh, and then it's gonna make you run like hell, right? Dirty woman, run like hell from her. So I'm gonna take Run Like Hell. That fucking run, 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 run.
Break out the hammers.
You know, I fucking love fucking Run Like Hell. It's just, it's so, and that like a little guitar thing he's doing through that whole fucking song. Yeah,
Another fucking iconic Young Lust.
Young Lust is fucking amazing. I think Bryan Adams did a good version at the 1990 Wall, right?
Yep.
Fucking great song, but fucking Run Like Hell is just amazing to me. So, Run Like Hell.
Yeah, I go with Run Like Hell too, but man, I love Young Lust. I mean, these are two fucking great tunes, man. The two great parts in the movie too. Young Lust, you get all the groupies trying to get in backstage, a lot of little boob action going on, and Run Like Hell is kind of messed up, messed up visuals and during that part. Yeah, that was kind of shocking when I first saw that, but it fits the movie so well. But we're talking the vinyl, the vinyl, so definitely Run Like Hell. Let's see, number 10 here. One of My Turns versus Waiting for the Worms, Andy.
One of My Turns. One of My Turns. Love that song.
Al?
Waiting for the Worms. I'm going with that one, man. It's just and I love both of them as well, but I'm just going Waiting for the Worms. And for me, now it's like the second disc is like Joe was saying before, it has picked up steam for me. I think it's stronger material on that one. So
Again, some more lyrics we can't sing on the show.
Yeah.
Joseph?
Boy, for an album that they play about half of on the radio, it's no wonder why they don't play the other half.
Yeah.
But no, definitely I agree with Al. Waiting for the Worms. I'm gonna go with Waiting for the Worms here. It's a great follow-up to I love the story of side 4 and how that, much like for me, side 1, the flow from the first 2 tracks into Brick Part 1, Happiest Days of Our Lives, Brick Part 2, and Mother. And then I think side 4 with In the Flesh, Run Like Hell, into Waiting for the Worms, and then what kind of follows on from there. I think that flow matches the flow of side 1. And I'm picking almost all those tracks you've noticed so far.
And at this point in the story, I mean, Pink is pretty much gone, man. He's
gone.
He's gone, dude. Like
We'll find out in 2 tracks that how far gone he really is.
Verdict.
He's at the point of no return now, man.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Mark.
Oh God, I like the megaphone in Waiting for the Worms. I think it's cool how Roger Waters gets on that thing like he's
to weed out the weaklings.
Yeah, we don't want to speak of the lyrics. We don't want to get canceled right now. But shit, I'm going for Waiting for the Worms.
Yeah, again, 2 great fucking songs. I love how One of My Turns builds up, man.
A good one.
Feel, cold as a razor. It just, and it starts you going, it gets really heavy, which is really cool. And then Waiting for the Worms, though, it's almost the same way. It's like, goodbye, cruel world, it's over. Walk on by. Just
like gray skin on a dime, man.
I mean, they're 2 actually very underrated tunes, man. And but I gotta go with One of My Turns. I think I like that song just a little bit more. So that's my pick.
Man,
man, it's pretty close. Part 1 is winning 26-24.
All right, number 11. Don't Leave Me Now versus Stop.
You see, I think that I am seeing this differently. I enjoy side 2 far more than any other side on this album. I'm going to go with "Don't Leave Me Now." In fact, side 2 is one of my favorite sides of all time. I love side 2. Absolutely do it. So I'm going to go with "Don't Leave Me Now" because he's talking about the dissolve of his marriage and his beginning of his downfall. After being this big rock star, traveling the world, and then if y'all remember the part that goes into Young Lust or after Young Lust, where he's calling home and another man answers.
Yeah.
And the
Must be
operator,
someone. Must be someone else there besides your wife.
the fuck? Oh shit! I don't know. I keep
Boy,
on
don't
saying,
don't you just
Thanks
hate
for
when
the-
that
yeah.
happens?
Thanks for the
and he
news
just
flash.
keeps hanging up. I don't
Someone else there
understand.
besides your wife.
This is the
Man
United
answer.
States trying to call for Miss. He just keeps hanging up. Oh, and then he just slumps down, and then it starts into his downfall. Oh, love
Don't
it.
Leave Me Now is
Don't
part
Leave Me
one,
Now.
no, Andy.
Huh?
Don't Leave Me Now is part one.
Side 2 on
Side
two on the
two
Oh,
of
album.
side 2.
disc
Oh, okay.
one.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
going to
but
he's
I'm
doing
talking about
side
the
2.
side.
Okay.
Side
If you're
two.
going vinyl
Yeah.
Yeah.
version.
I went by
Right-
the CD.
Right now we're on side 2 versus side 4.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Al, what's your pick? Are you done, Andy? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. I just
Okay.
wanted to say when that flower comes and devours the man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then turns into that bird. You're like, what the hell? I'm like 12 years old. What the hell's going on here? This ain't Tom and Jerry.
Ah, the
But yeah,
flower. Jeez,
yeah,
what
but
does that
don't leave me
mean?
now. My mom's like, "Why are you watching cartoons?"
Thomas.
I'm
All
watching
right, Al.
I'm watching flowers having sex.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna agree with Andy on this one. Don't Leave Me Now, man. I'm flipping back over to the other side for this track. So I like it more than Stop. I think it's a better track. So I'm not gonna elaborate more on it. Andy hit a lot of good points on that. So yeah, Andy's really all in on this album right now, dude.
I love Sonic 2.
Yeah.
All
man.
right, Joe.
Good.
I'm sorry, Al.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, what Stop is like 26 seconds long.
Yeah, it's short.
I mean,
Very
it's not really much of a battle here. I definitely have to go.
But
with
again,
Don't
you don't
Leave
want
Me
to
Now.
take it out of the album.
No. It
No.
fits perfectly
Yeah.
as that little stopgap
Yeah.
between Waiting for the Worms and the grand
Stop.
epic
Yeah, out of
of
nowhere.
what's coming next.
Yeah. It
So
works.
it works very well. But again, when you pull it out of the album, battle it up against each other, I definitely have to go with Don't Leave Me Now.
Mark.
I'm going to go with Don't Leave Me Now also because it's pretty Stop is pretty short, but it's very important to the album also. So, but I'll pick Don't Leave Me Now.
Yeah, I gotta go. Don't Leave Me Now too. I love the opening. The synthesizers, man, are just enthralling. Dude, they bring you in, and another great solo by Gilmore too.
Oh yeah.
Stop is, like I said, it's an important part of the movie, especially the dude sitting there in the stall, like sticking his hand in the toilet and like wetting himself down with the water. It's just fucking weird, but cool, important to the movie. So definitely go with Don't Leave Me Now.
That
All
was a
right.
sweep.
12, Another Brick in the Wall, Part 3 versus The Trial. Andy, I gotta be on.
Dude, the trial is so. It's so important and so intricate, and they put so much work into the trial. But then when you listen to The Wall Part 3 right after Don't Leave Me Now, I don't need no arms around me. I don't need no drugs to calm me. Oh, I have seen the writing on the wall. It's so hard because The Wall Part 3 really does put the hammer in of side 1 and 2, even though it's only like a minute and a half long. But the words and the lyrics just wrap everything up. But the trial, like I said, it's they put so much into it. It's got Bob Ezrin written all over it, all over it. I'm gonna have to go with The Wall Part 3 on this, just
Another-
because of the
another brick.
wrapping around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Al.
Even though I picked another brick, part 1 and 2, I gotta go with the trial, man, because I don't know, just the experience of seeing it live and just such the tension. By that point, man, it's just like, dude, it's just so fucking dramatic
Crazy.
and just so like you're so consumed now, like with what the hell's going on. I mean, look at the look at the freaking judge right there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fills me with the urge to defecate.
Ah, dude, it's just like so dramatic, bro, and just so yeah, the production value of that, man. I mean, like Bob Ezra and just fucking, even though the amount of coke that he was probably doing, uh,
At that time.
Hey,
it's just
that's probably what made it good, though.
Yeah.
You know.
the creativity that went into this, man. Just
Yeah, that's
incredible.
amazing. Yeah.
So I'm going with the trial. It's just we're like coming to the end here. It's just I can't pick another brick part 3. I already gave brick, a couple picks already. So I'm going with the
Yeah,
trial.
yeah, but this show is just like the album. You really don't want the show to end.
No,
I mean, you
yeah,
just
it's
want to
true.
keep going on and on and on. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, Joe.
Right?
So one of the things that Andy said, I completely agree with, that Another Brick in the Wall Part 3 perfectly concludes disc 1 and really sets up everything that's coming in disc 2. But the trial has the responsibility of concluding the entire album. And I think, as much as I absolutely love Another Brick in the Wall Part 3, exactly what Andy said, those lyrics, I don't need no arms around me.
Yep.
Great, great track, but I think The Trial is one of the most important songs on the album, and I think it's absolutely bonkers. It's insane, and it's an amazing track, and I definitely have to go with The Trial.
All right, Mark.
I gotta go with the trial, man. I do love. I don't need no. I love Another Brick in the Wall Part 3, but the trial is like fucking story, fucking weird voices, fucking cool stuff. Smoke a fucking joint, trip on some acid or something, man. I don't do acid, but I know friends who used to listen to this album on acid, and they said this song freaked them out. So fucking just freaked the fuck out of them. So I'm going with the trial.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go with the trial too. I mean, just so cool the way. I mean, it was just so. When you first hear it, man, it's like, wow, where'd this come from? It's so fucking cool. The cool thing about this is an interesting part of the battle to me is because it seems like Another Brick in the Wall Part 3 could have been the ending to disc 1, and it looks like the trial could have been the ending to disc 2. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like having the great.
I'll have something to say about that. When we
It's
get
like
to the
having
next
great
track.
sex. You just blew it. You know what I'm talking about? I won't get too nasty. But then you get to the next one, it's like having the cigarette afterwards, this next battle.
Yep.
So with that being said, let's get into that one. Goodbye, Cruel World versus Outside the Wall, Andy.
Oh, easily. Goodbye, cruel world. There's nothing you can do to change my mind. Goodbye. And then it just
Yeah.
ends. And I would think it would be the perfect ending if this wasn't a double album. That'd be the perfect ending. But it's not. It opens. I mean, it flip. You put in the other disc in there, and it continues, brilliantly. But I really think that Goodbye Cruel World is so good. So I'm going with Goodbye Cruel World. I'm leaving you today.
Goodbye,
Not
goodbye.
to change my mind.
Goodbye. See, karaoke, man. You
All
guys
right,
know.
Al.
I'm gonna I'm gonna agree with Andy here. I'm gonna go goodbye cruel world, and to me this is like he said, man, it's the perfect end. I mean, by this point in the story, we're ending the first part of the album. I mean, side 2, disc 1 of CD, whatever you want to call it, and by this point now, Pink is pretty much shutting down now. Like he's leaving like a reality now. Now, you know, when you're going into disc 2, now we're going into the deep recesses of his mind.
Alternate world.
You know, hit the alternate world of, like, you know, like I said, the deep recesses of his mind. Now it's like he's fucked, bro. You know what I mean? You know, so but good. I love, and the one thing I loved about Goodbye Cruel World, like seeing the actual Wall live, you know, the concert. I love it right at the end when it's like goodbye. They put the last brick
The
in.
last brick.
It's done. I mean, it's just so dramatically perfect, man. You know, it's I got to go to that one. Outside the Wall it's good, but it's like kind of, it's almost like, I don't know. It doesn't even like have anything to do with Pink in a way. You know, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I might be wrong on that. I might be reading into it wrong. You guys correct me. I mean, Joe, go ahead, man. You go.
Yeah, I mean, this was actually, for as much as Jerry said, like it's kind of in one way a postscript on this album, but I found this to be a very hard battle. Like you guys said, I think Goodbye Cruel World perfectly ends disc 1. Absolutely, just like you said, especially with the visuals of like the final brick, and it's one of those albums where after everything you've seen this character go through in disc 1, and to basically end disc 1 with his suicide note, in lack of a better term, his suicide note to reality, almost, like he retreats behind the wall, and then you think, boy, things can't possibly get any worse for this dude, can they? And then disc 2 happens, and you finish it with Outside the Wall, and you're just like Al said, you come to the conclusion, man, this guy, he's toast. Like he's done. Like it's gone. It's all gone. And this, I think, Outside the Wall, I think it does really relate, because it's basically just after he's become so detached from reality and sentenced to basically what happens at the end of the trial. And this is just the lyrics. It's just it's society looking in at him and just being like, it's like, not like how they kind of say it, knocking on the glass at a zoo. It's like he has become this just like thing to be looked at and studied and observed, and he's just so completely detached from it all. And I think it's such a really poignant way to end the album, because now not only is he completely detached from reality, sentenced to life apart from all this inside his own mind, he has now become the ultimate, like, kind of like he has just become this sideshow attraction, almost, just for everyone to come by and look at, and the way so, and those who love you pass by in twos, and all this stuff is basically like there's nothing that anybody can do for you. Like you're just done. And I think it's such a really kind of messed up way to end the album, almost.
Yeah. At the same time, I think it's a very brilliant way. I'll get
It is.
we'll
100%.
We'll get to Mark first. Go ahead, Mark.
But yeah, I definitely.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry,
I don't
Joe.
know
I'm sorry.
I don't know if I ever actually said, but I am going with Outside the Wall.
Okay. All right. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're going with Outside the Wall?
I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with Goodbye Cruel World. I just love that song. It's just perfect way. There's nothing else I could say what all you guys said about that fucking song. It just fucking rules. But Outside the Wall is really good. It gives you a complete ending to the album. I don't know. I think they should make a new movie. Like,
absolutely not.
Come on,
Okay.
make a
Do not
new
fuck
movie.
with that. No.
Modernize it. Make it heavy.
No.
No way.
Please
What are
don't.
you talking about?
It's a joke. I'm being sarcastic.
Oh.
Yeah, get Korn to do the whole movie.
I'm just
Get
going.
the-
I go make it heavy. It'll be good. No.
Get to the people doing the get the people doing the Dawkins movie to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the Slaughter movie.
In between the Dawkins and the Slaughter movie, they got to make The Wall.
Yeah.
Make it heavy. But what? Okay, I'm done with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll go with Goodbye Cruel World too. But Outside the Wall is so important too. To me, that song's like if you're doing a workout, you need a cool down from what you just did or what you just been through. It's a perfect cool down song and a perfect ending to it. I think it's a brilliant way to end the album because technically it goes into side one again, like you guys said. So it's like it continues. It's like the cycle it continues. It don't stop. It's like cool. That's
I
what love
wonder.
about it.
I wonder where Queensryche got the idea to end Operation Mindcrime the way they did.
Well, look at Minds of Strangers, basically.
That's what I'm saying.
So which
I
track
mean,
did you pick,
it
Jerry?
floods back into.
Oh, Goodbye Cruel World.
Okay, cool. Just want to make
Yeah.
sure.
Isn't it like, just to interject a bit? Isn't it amazing, like the influence that Syd Barrett had on this band, dude? I mean, even though he was only on the first album and maybe half of the second one,
Yep.
the lasting influence that he had on the writing of the material on this band was just, I mean, if it wasn't for him, I mean, it wouldn't have been, a Pink Floyd, really.
Anything.
I mean,
There wouldn't have been anything.
anything,
Like like on the Syd Barrett episode, it's like he never really left the band.
no, no,
he
man.
was part
And-
of the band for a long time. Sorry,
I
Al.
mean, and this album is really a combination of him and Roger's father,
Yeah.
like the war themes and all that stuff. So it was like, I think you can't take anything away from Roger, man. He's just a genius songwriter, man. Like his his themes and his concepts, man, were just incredible, dude.
They were.
And this is, I mean, it's almost like, where do you go after this album, bro? It's like the band's destined they have to break up, really. It's like this crowning achievement. I mean, where do you go?
Yeah.
You can only go down from here. It's like, that's it, man. Where do you go?
Yeah.
And I would have been fine if they had just stopped here. I would have been fine if they would have just stopped right here.
Well, I don't blame the guy. I don't blame the three, David and Nick for continuing. I
Of
mean,
course.
Roger wanted to quit, so
But
I
it became
don't
such a
blame them.
different entity then, it just became.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I agree with what you
It's
said.
not
Roger,
like-
Roger is a fucking great lyricist. He's a great storyteller. So that mattered a lot in their success.
Yeah, but it's not like they took another step forward after this. Everything was backwards after this.
Sure. I mean,
after-
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's like after this, there was no way they could have taken another step forward. There's no
Mm.
way.
Even with Roger in the band, it was a step backwards.
Oh, Final Cut was I like the Final Cut, but that's a
Yeah.
huge step backwards. So
For
Yeah.
me, their career did like the perfect
Arc.
build up, and then they started and ended with my least favorite albums, and it just went up and it went down.
I love Momentary.
why do people shit on the Piper of the Gates of Dawn? I love that album. Man.
I love it too.
It's the style I just can't get into, and
Yeah,
I understand there's people that really enjoy it, and
Isn't it kind of hippie?
it's just I
Yeah,
can't
there you
get
go.
into.
Hippie
I
music
really
sucks.
can't
It's
get into-
psychedelic, man. It's
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not a psychedelic person.
I'm
That's
not,
just-
I like some psychedelic, but I don't like Pink Floyd with Syd Barrett.
and then well, equally, why do people shut the Division Bell? I think it's a great fucking album.
I wasn't even
Off.
talking about the Division Bell. I was talking about
Endless River. Okay, well, yeah.
Well, I like Momentary.
Well, I like the Division Bell, but it was nowhere near what they could have done if they would just
No,
stopped.
no.
Yeah.
I
However,
like
I think it was like sixth on my all-time Pink Floyd album.
I
so
like
did
High
this show, I
Hopes.
think.
Division
song.
Bell,
Anyway,
that's it.
Mark, what was the score anyway? Did you say it? I can't
Part
remember.
one, won by 7, 36-29 over part 2. So part
Wow, I
one
thought
beat
side
him.
2 would win.
Nope, part 1. A lot of you guys picked part 1 a lot of part 1.
I thought there'd be
Andy
a-
really saved disc 1.
Yeah,
I thought there'd be a lot of
Andy.
I thought there'd be a lot of blowouts, but there
I was
wasn't.
side
So that's
2
good.
with my picks on side 2, and
Yeah.
I knew that I was gonna pick a lot of side 2. I knew I was.
Well, part 1 had a blowout a couple times almost.
Well, I mean, I thought it was going to be every song one-sided,
Yeah,
but it didn't end up that way, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, we
Well,
only
so
had like
part
what
one wins.
two sweeps.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a pretty good.
this was a lot of fun, man. I thank
Yeah.
you guys for
Yeah,
doing
this
this
was
with us.
great.
This was awesome.
Yeah, no, this is. I definitely want to get in on this one because this
Yeah.
was. You
Hey,
know,
it gave me a chance to go back and listen to this album, which I never need an excuse to. But
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Like I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm gonna listen to.
But
The
when you
Wall.
gotta do-
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go walk the dog. I'm gonna listen.
But
to
when
The
you got to
Wall.
do homework, it's
Yeah.
Shit, what homework?
This was enjoyable. I listened to it
Yeah.
twice.
yeah.
So I was happy to listen
it
to
was
it again.
This is one of the few times where I actually because as you guys always know, like these album battles, I usually go off the cuff. I don't really prepare for it, but I did prepare for this one. This one I just had to kind of do it. I had to do the comparisons.
Yeah.
I just
Right.
couldn't go off the top of my head on this one because it would have been a bit too hard. But I love doing these album battles without like really, just kind of going by the gut and the heart or whatever. So, but this one, I really, because I'll prove it. I got the paper right here. So,
I have it on I had it on my phone.
so
Well, I got my notes all everywhere.
See that's
Yeah.
I really love doing these shows lately. This show especially, and then the show that you guys are gonna be doing next week on Blackspinner that Andy messaged me about earlier. It's a nice way to break up the deep dives I've been doing a lot lately. So I've been really diving into like specific artists, and then
Yeah.
I'm able to go, okay, I'm gonna throw The Wall on. It's a nice little break, and then I'm gonna throw the album that we're gonna be talking about next week on Blackspinner on, or on and on. So
Well, Andy will probably announce it. He always does.
well, he will, because it was a change in schedule.
Yeah.
yeah, I can't be on next week's show because I'm going to see Bob Dylan with Edwin Canestracci. So and he's excited because he loves Dylan, but he'd never seen him before. So I was able to secure some couple free tickets. So me and him are gonna have
And
a
you're
date
gonna beat me going to concerts with him, man. I'm jealous.
night.
I've been to
Well,
two.
we live close by each other, so
Well, we kind of used to.
yeah.
He might come back one day.
Yeah, he was talking about one day he might go back to California. So
I miss the dude. He's cool.
Yeah,
Him and Vincent Kavanaugh, man. Cool dudes to hang out with, man.
Me and my wife talked about moving back to South Florida. Maybe eventually we'll do that. I missed it
and
a
then,
lot.
and then me
fucking
and
great
then me
time.
and Jerry will go to concerts together.
Hell yeah,
Right.
dude.
See, we all just have to end up in South Florida. Just
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, damn.
I'll get a job down there.
Yeah, I'd go to Tampa a lot because I love Ybor City. And
I can't
love
stand
I love the city
humidity,
of
so
Tampa.
I could never live in Florida.
Me either.
You do have to. It
joke
is
about
an
it, I
acquired
could
taste.
not.
It's
No,
an acquired.
I
It's
can't
an
handle
acquired
that
taste.
shit.
Yeah, it's an
I
acquired
can
taste.
never
Get
eat
used to it.
Texas.
Well, I have the Mediterranean skin, so I welcome this weather.
Give me
so.
the dry heat of Texas and
And
Arizona.
I'm telling you,
good
man,
with
you're gonna every fucking bug in the world you're gonna see down there, especially in
Oh,
South
of course.
Florida. So.
Yeah.
the cicadas. You like the cicada?
Well, cicadas,
I mean, you got fucking
cicadas were big in
roaches
New
like
Jersey,
this.
dude.
Yeah.
Flying
Cicadas were-
roaches.
Cicadas were big in New Jersey, man. I had a problem with them a lot. Huh?
All right.
Yeah.
It's not
All
really
right.
dry here. It's
So
very
that was
humid.
that was our album battle part 1 of Pink Floyd The Wall, and then we got our final thoughts, Jerry.
Thanks, Mark, for agreeing to do this, and thank you three for being on, dude. It's like it's a Pink Floyd, anything with Pink Floyd, dude, I'm in, dude. Pink Floyd and Zeppelin, I'm fucking in. So thank you for doing this with me, and I love talking about Florida and love hearing you guys' opinions on it. So thanks again.
Andy,
Andy.
final thoughts? Oh, go ahead.
Yes, this was fantastic. I really enjoyed this. This is one of my favorite albums. And next week on the Blackspinner Circle, my co-host, like you said, will be out. So we are going to be ranking the tracks on Led Zeppelin 4. And I'm scheduled to be on there. It's going to be Mark, Jerry, Joseph, Kate Doré, and
Ooh.
Brad Dahl.
Ooh,
So
that's a
we're gonna
big
have
one.
full-
Yeah.
yeah, so
Bringing out all the big guns.
yeah, so we're gonna have a full house.
It's
Oh, no,
only 8 tracks.
I'm very excited. Oh yeah, it's only 8 tracks. I was like, well, I gotta get more people.
So
to
we're
get on.
ranking them our favorite to the worst, or our
Yeah.
least to the best, right? Least.
Yeah,
to the
there's
best.
no worst or least. It's
Well,
my
I know, but
it's
you
Led
have-
Zeppelin 4. What is this?
I know.
what's the
you're
eighth
talking about?
Yeah,
We go from 8 to 1.
Well, I know
I
what the
think-
last track would
I'm
be.
just fucking with you.
Well,
Yeah,
this is
because Joseph and Brad and I, we did. Which one did we do?
Sabotage.
Sabotage by Sabbath. This way, that was a good show. That was fun.
Mhm.
So we go 8 from 1. We go 8 to 1,
From
right?
8 to 1, yes.
8 to
Yep.
1.
Yeah.
Got
this
it.
is very complimentary to me, man, because You see how many people you need to fill?
Yeah, he's the Lindsey Buckingham, the Lindsey
Yeah.
Buckingham of
You
the
need
show.
to fill
man.
out of talk so I
Yeah.
can connect with people.
But Al, you got anything you gotta say, man?
Stay humble.
Yeah.
No, I mean, thanks. I'm sure I speak for Andy as well. Thanks for having us on, and I always love doing these album battles, and your topic's always great. So sometimes, well, yeah, most of the time. Most of the time. Anyway,
Every now and then when Jerry picks it.
every now and then you.
So I guess there won't be anybody joining me for the best top 11 Alanis Morissette songs, huh? So no.
It's just Jagged Little Pill. What are you talking about?
Listen, Jerry, man. Listen, Jerry. Listen,
What?
Jerry. They all can't be zingers, man. You know what I mean?
I want to do a top 11 songs, the best of Alice Cooper, and get Sinzak on here. Chris, if you're watching this, reach out to me. I want you on that episode when it comes up, man.
It's
He's
kind
Mr.
of
Alice
ironic
Cooper.
that we do one of Alanis Morissette. So.
Oh.
It's like
I think
I
think that's going to be a solo show for me. I guess I don't know.
No,
I'll review Jagged Little Pill with you,
Jerry,
man. I love
would
that album.
Jerry, I do with you, man. You could do that on Freeform whenever you
No,
want.
see, I do that, but I also want to make it fun for everybody. If I'm going to come up with a topic nobody likes, I'm not going to mention it.
Oh, dude, but those are the funnest episodes, man. We've been agreeing on.
No, on this show. No, on this show.
Do rank the tracks on Jagged Little Pill.
No, Freeform we can rag on shit like you did Crazy Nights. I fucking ragged on all of it. But this show you really can't rag on our picks. You know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah.
Anyway, where you at? Joe, any final words, man?
Thanks for having me on. As always, love being on with you guys. This is a great time, and goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
All right. Well.
All right, Mark, take us out, buddy.
All right, man. Tomorrow on Freeform Rock Podcast, fucking Alice pissed off at me, told me to fuck off because we did Carnival of Souls by Kiss, Chris Sinzak and Bushy. I think you were doing something on that Saturday. That's why I didn't ask.
I know. I probably was.
You were probably doing something because I always look at you guys' Facebook to see if I could schedule you.
I was probably doing some of actual importance.
Yeah. He has a life. He's had with this thing called a life,
So that's
what is this magical thing called a life?
That's our episode on Freeform is Carnival of Souls.
On the weekends, what?
I was like, you mean you don't just sit around and do shows all day? I mean, I feel attacked.
Oh my god! So and also, freaking next week, I think I picked 11 great singers who went bad, great vocalists who went bad. He said we'll have a rundown of that. I think Andy's going to be on that. Chris Elio is going to be on that. If any of you other guys want to be on that, talk about vocalists that used to be good that suck now. We could talk about
Paul
that.
Stanley.
Oh, those spoilers.
Everybody's gonna fucking pick him, dude. That's not a spoiler. Come on,
number one.
It's Steel.
Oh,
it's him or Paul. It's what you're gonna do.
I got another one I'm thinking about, but
cue up that video of Kickstart My Heart.
Kickstart My Heart, Big Mac.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, that was funny as fuck. The lyric. They're showing the fucked up lyrics as he's singing.
Big Mac 103.
Dude, what is he saying? Yabba dabba doo.
It'll just always for everybody.
Fucking little pictures of Bruce Lee and his kung fu moves. It's fucking hilarious.
You know what? I feel sorry for Vince Steele because he's the only one that looks like he's actually enjoying what he's doing on stage.
I don't. He's rich. He can cry into his money.
Don't feel sorry for Vince, man. He's still getting laid and he still has money, bro.
Somehow.
He's laid as much as he used.
Nobody looks like he's enjoying what he's doing up there. The other guys look bored. Well, John 5 looks cool. I've seen videos of John 5. He looks really happy to be up there. But
John 5's just a cool dude.
Yeah, John 5, man. He I gotta love. Hey, you guys were talking about last night. Stuart Copeland did make a crappy album called Clark Kent. So if you guys want to check that.
Oh yeah, he talks about
probably why I've never heard it.
Oh, dude, it's so new wave. It's horrible. And I like new wave. Oh, let's get the fuck out of here. Thank you guys for being on here. What, promote your show though? Did you guys promote your show, Blackspinner?
Yeah, Blackspinner Circle next week.
Making,
You guys,
making sure it got promoted, man.
yeah,
Get the
and,
fuck
and
out
I'm
of
not
here.
gonna and I'm not gonna be on it. So
Well, if you guys want to be on next week's show, let me know. Tell us in the
Yeah.
group chat. Let's get the fuck out. Like, share, and subscribe. And also give us comments. Tell us what you think of the show. Get on the Facebook page, our community, BS Sessions community. Check us out, man. We're always on there talking. At least I am. All right,
all 10 pages that Mark runs.
Yeah, dude, I interact with everybody. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. Later,
All right,
guys.
later,
Peace.
everybody.
Later, man.
Good night.
Bye.